Oh, oh, ah, ah, Please stand by. Please stand by. Ah, The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Oh. Ooh. La 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 la. Oh. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Unique, New York. Unique, New York. Rolling the die, the 3d6. Gonna do it by the rules, no more tricks. Gonna make it happen, gonna make some crap and spend a night with D&D. Oh, Aquaman has no hand. Aquaman has no hand. Yada-dee, da-da-dee, on TV, 3D. Ooh, 17. Noise. Yada-da-da-da. Oh. Just a bald guy in his room rolling 3d6. Oh, keep the best, toss the rest. Booyah, Grandma. Ooh, what's that? Couple of 6 side-ups right there, baby cakes. Well, I can't tell if anybody's here or not. If you are, howdy. Normally, I think I would get... Oh, wait. 2 people are watching right now. Yahoo! All right. Well, I hope those 2 people are Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch. One of them is Twigs. Welcome, friend, other person. I wish I could see your name. If you say something, I can salute you for being the first to arrive, and we can have a beer together. If the comments are working, if everything is functioning properly. Twigs, if you're watching out there, could you try saying something? Let's make sure that the intertubes are working properly. Sanskrit. Red Bull is not good for you. Not good. Well, actually, there are many benefits, but goodness is not one of them. Okay, we got more people now, but I am getting no comments, so we might have our same thing before where it's not working properly. That would be unfortunate, because seeing the comments is the essence of the activity. Anyway, welcome, 3 mysterious people who don't seem to be able to comment. I'm sure there are frantic messages right now saying, we are commenting, you just can't see it. So that's a thing. Twigs, can you do a comment? Does it work? Holding on. The first 5 minutes are always the most exciting. Just like an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And after that first 5 minutes, there's no subsequent excitement. So welcome, 3 viewers. We're looking for some holler-ats. If I can see your names, I can raise a glass to you. Until then, I'll continue to warm up my dice, and you should do the same thing. If you're joining in tonight, you're going to need a pencil, paper, and 4d6, and a place to roll them. That's preferably not the stomach of a nerf herder. Actually, there's nothing wrong with rolling dice on the stomach of a nerf herder. It's just they have abs, and the dice tend to tumble off. All right. Yes, so get your stuff ready. Pen and paper. 4d6. Really, we're going to be rolling 3d6, but you always want to be tossing out the low one. Hey there, I've got a comment from Twigs McThorne. Hello, Twigs, from the control room. Looks like comments might be working, so we got a few people in there. Twigs, I raise a glass to you, a mighty mug. Twigs is our local IT druid. She is making the things functioning, and someone else has just joined us. Greetings to the Character Creation Funfest. Hankerin Fernale here, Drunkens and Dragons, and another Friday night of D&D. Just me and all thousands of you. There are just thousands, and by thousands I mean 4. But hey, all you really need is about 5 people for a good night of D&D anyway, maybe 6 if you're a little more into it. So I think we're getting there right now. Welcome, other viewers. If you can drop a comment in, it'd be nice to know who the hell's participating in this night of craziness. And if you're just tuning in and you want to follow along, which I know you want to do, you're going to need 4d6, 4 6-sided dice, and of course your handy dandy D&D journal, or pen and paper, as some of you call it. So we'll look forward to everybody starting to pour in and showing up. And thanks for watching, guys. And now, hey there, we have our first Thunderfist the Mighty 5. Welcome to our first non-Twigs commenter. I raise a glass to you, Thunderfist Mighty 5. Plenty of beer left to drink, so that's a good thing. Well, let's kick it off, shall we? Because 7 people is plenty for a night of D&D. By the Grey Blade of Fenrir, I bid this live session open! Okay, that's one down there. He's just, oh, God. By the Blade Anduril, reforged from the shards of Narsil, I build this live transmission open! Okay, let's just put that in there. Let me get that down. Oh, God. By the ninja weapon of the ancients, I bid this live stream open! Alright, just put that back in there. And, by the wooden level 1 sword of halfling rogues everywhere, I bid this live stream opened. Excellent. Now that that formality's out of the way, welcome to Drunkens and Dragons, you guys. I'm Hankerin Fernale. We're going to roll some freaking characters tonight. It's going to be dope. So glad you're here. Glad you can make it. And the gods have been merciful this evening. It finally cooled down below like 350 degrees up here in Washington. So we get to put our Black Raven hoodies back on like normal people instead of sweating in the craft room like a freak, like some kind of person put into an over high temperature dungeon area. I don't know where that's going. Whew. Anyway, hey, let's get it underway, shall we? All right. So what are we going to do tonight? We are going to roll 4 frickin' characters. We're going to roll the classic 4, and we're going to do it the Drunkens and Dragons way. So we're not going to, you know, get out our PHB here and just be like, okay, where do I start? There's a picture of a dwarf. Does that mean I'm going to be a dwarf? Okay, what? Step 1, making a character. God, the first thing I see is like a 5-paragraph block of text. I'm not going to read that. That's crazy. You might be a courageous fighter, a skulking. Come on. All right? I know the fundamental tropes of tabletop RPGs. I've seen Lord of the Rings. I watched the Dungeons and Dragons movies. Hell, I watched the Dragonheart movie where Sean Connery is the voice of the dragon. That's how much I know my fantasy. So I know what I'm getting into. I don't need to read the basics. And here's where you're going to go off the map, guys, and how you're going to roll up your characters the Drunkens and Dragons way. You're going to do it from the gut rather than from the book. And for those of you who watch the channel a lot, you know that that's what I'm all about when it comes to tabletop. You don't want to be looking crap up all the time. And especially, one of the most fun nights of your campaign is going to be that night where you get together with your homies, you got your DM there, he's got some weird devious ideas, and you all sit down, start working through what the characters are going to be. Another great way to warm up to it is like get on the Spacebooks or the IM or whatever and kind of text your way into talking about some ideas of maybe what you want to try. Now, a lot of people, they come to the table, they have no idea what the hell they're going to do. They just know they want to hang out with their friends and play D&D. They don't, have some kind of a thing in mind. You'll meet power players or longtime players who will say like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do a half-elf dual-class fighter mage build. I'm gonna do a strength-based cleric." No, that's not how we're gonna do it around here. We're gonna do it just like I rolled up. I'm not sure what the hell I'm gonna do in this campaign, but I want it to be awesome, and I want to have fun creating the character, not just playing the character. All right. So what are you going to need? You're going to need your 4d6, 4 6-sided dice, a place to roll them that's legal, and pen and paper. Now, you guys know me. I don't like using weird character sheets that scare me away with boxes and lines and things like that. And I don't like loose leaf paper because I feel like I'm an office worker. So I always use a cool little book like this. I definitely recommend this. This is a great way to show up at your game session, just with this little guy. The concept of being able to cram a whole character onto one sheet is just dumb. Sorry, everyone, but it's just dumb. A character is an ever-evolving story that you're creating and learning more and more details about. So set yourself up with plenty of pages. Now, this happens to be a dope OG World of Warcraft leatherback journal that a friend of mine hooked me up with. So this is pretty good stuff. So you want something like this. It's got a pocket for extra junk in the back. That way when you go to your session, all you need is like your dice, your box or whatever, and your journal, your pencil. You're ready to rock. So you guys know me. I'm still working my way through this book. I'm maybe like 20 pages from the end, so that's pretty cool. All right. You got your damn supplies. And by the way, hey, welcome newcomers. Hey, Colt Moo's in the house. That's cool. Poop. That is all. I don't even know what's happening there, but that's cool. So, welcome everyone. All right, now, here's how it's going to break down. We are just going to bust out the 4 classic character archetypes from D&D. So that is your cleric, your magic user, your rogue, and your fighter. All right? Now, I know people are going to freak out. They're going to be like, what about the barbarian, dude? What about the warlock? What about the druid? No, bro. Those things are totally cool. But basically, a druid is just a magic user. Or a druid could be a rogue. Meanwhile, a barbarian is really just a fighter. Or a barbarian could also be a rogue. Then all the different types of subcategory of magic user, to me, are magic user. Now, for the sake of character creation, especially if you're new to D&D, the best technique is just to get a sense of who you are. Let the game reveal all the details of who you are. The character creation process should be easy. It should be effortless. It should be just a fun way to find your way into the game. How do you calculate the bonus for the 2nd level spell that you got last week, and did you memorize it from the scroll? And I can't remember. I don't know if I have read magic. And what was the range on that thing? And was it a touch effect or was it area? Fuck, it doesn't matter. For making your character, that stuff does not matter. I know, it's heresy, but this is how we're going to do it. So what is the first step? Oh, hey, Joey Clegg. Welcome to the show, man. We're rolling up some characters, and we're looking good. Everything's working. So, whew, okay, that's already a mouthful. I need to pace myself now. There's a couple hours yet to go. What's the very first step, Hankerin? You're going to be asking me. What should I do first? I'm sitting here, I got my 4d6, I got my book, I'm ready to go. What am I going to do first? Now, you guys aren't going to believe my answer to this. It's going to sound completely ridiculous, but I strongly recommend you give it a try. The very first thing you want to do when you're doing character creation is pick a miniature. Weird, right? So you guys have seen my room on one of the other videos. You know, there's like a big sea of miniatures over there. So you want to pick through them and say to yourself, well, okay, I'm going to be playing with the buddies. I kind of think this little guy is cool. Looks like he's got like javelins on his back and a big spear and kind of a dope helmet, and he kind of looks like a good guy. I like that. This little dude is kind of badass. He's like, looks like some kind of little goblin-faced roguey guy, but I like how small he is. He's kind of real nimble looking. Then you got old man with a book, and he's like holding his glasses. I mean, this is killer. This is just awesome. And finally, you've got like Mr. Goody Two Shoes, golden red, super elven lord of the master's castle of goodness. Either way, it's a cool looking mini. It's very easy to spot from a distance. And it's one of the few miniatures I've seen where like the morality of the character is a clear read. He's clearly like one of the leaders of the good guys. I find that intriguing. You're going to be looking at this damn thing for hours while you're playing over the coming months if these characters that you make wind up in a campaign. So to me, this is the fundamental choice. Do I want to be this guy? Now, a lot of people don't do this. They actually will make their character and then go seek out a mini that will match. Or they'll make their character and then get a custom mini made by someone like Hero Forge. That's cool and everything, but I would argue that you will find yourself... There's a golem somewhere out there. You find yourself in a happier place if you start from a visual core. I mean, right away when I see this guy, I can start to imagine everything that this needs to be. Like, he's a sage. He's very old, but he refuses to be left behind by a younger world because he knows the import of an impending doom, the omens and the portents. He read of them in an ancient scroll, and he's paid his dues, and it seemed like he was going to disappear and die, but he's reinvigorated with a sense of purpose. Like, all that just came from the mini. And honestly, that, to me, is the good stuff when it comes to a character. Not looking up stats right away. Watching this, oh, shit. Wero's got his Black Raven hoodie on, too. That's pretty cool. That's how we roll around here, my man. So, for those of you who don't know, Black Raven is a brewery up here in Washington that is a place where God decided to make beer for us. So, we go there often. So, hey, I hope you guys are out there having a drink. Have a little sip with me. And, oh, shit, Vlog Moo is on there. I thought he was annihilated in a volcano. Well, whatever. Let's rack up some more viewers. Okay, so you've gotten through your first step, 11 people watching. Your first step is that you chose a miniature. So you're like, man, I like this little guy. This little guy's cool. I could see myself being this little guy, like going through adventures and getting cool shit, you know, like, fuck yeah, I could be that guy. And also, the mini implies things about the character's details. So you start to get a vision of who you want to be. So I've got my 4 classics here. I've got my fighter, my rogue, my wizard, and my cleric. And it's easy right away to start getting that vibe going, that just seeing it. If you notice, I have not looked at the book once yet. I got my fighter, my rogue, my wizard, my cleric. Like, fighter, rogue, wizard, cleric, fighter, rogue, wizard, cleric. It's just like doing the punching bag. You just learn these terms, learn the classes, and they'll start to be much more natural. If you go into the book right away, I gotta say, it's just bewildering. You need a solid sense for how the game works. All right, cool. So you got your minis. Now, in my case, I've chosen 4 minis. I know I want to be one of these characters going into my new campaign, but I don't know which. So I'm going to do a multiple character creation, and at the end, I'm going to pick who I really want to commit with. Now, you know how Drunkens and Dragons rolls. We always got little models and little scenarios set up, so it's no different for character creation. So right here, we have this sort of little shrine, and the red mage is up here, all judgmental on his throne, and he has his 2 little goblin servants. Now, the simple story that I thought up is that somehow the red mage has a great deed that needs done, and he has not the heroes to do that deed. So from far and wide across the realm, he summons the dregs, the mighty ones, the seekers, the adventurers, the fallen kings, the desperate thieves, anyone who would come. Put them through several ordeals. They've been through the fighting pits. They were sent through a maze to find a single torch from which only one could emerge, and so on and so forth. And it has all come down to these 4 characters: the fighter, the rogue, the wizard, and the cleric. And after this ordeal is done, he will choose who will go on the quest for him. So that's my story of how I'm going to roll these guys up. So part of it is I'm going to roll the characters up, right? Everybody knows the basics. You need to figure out the math involved with your character. You need to figure out what he's good at, what he sucks at, and why. And what it means, most importantly, for like how you're going to play, how you're going to show up to the table and make the table fun. You know, sometimes you got your weird accent, you know, where you're like, have at thee, heathen. You know, it's a very common approach. And then other times it's more what you do as a character that makes you who you are. You know, you're altruistic. You pull the guy out of the spikes. You run up and self-sacrifice and take the arrow in the chest to save the leader, stuff like that. You don't need a weird accent to be awesome like that. So that's how I'm going to do this. All right, so here we got some more people watching, so welcome everybody. I'd like to raise a glass. Sounds like some beers and Galliano bring drink. And to everybody who showed up, here's to you. Welcome. Oh, that's good. You know, that mug of beer is very big, but I have a feeling I'm going to want more. Okay, great. So you have a lay of the land. We're going to be rolling up these 4 characters, and we're going to put them through a small-scale ordeal here to test some of their abilities. So that's your first step. You chose a mini. Now you're sure, like, yeah, I like this guy. I think I could be this guy. I could get inside this guy's head. Yeah, he's kind of an awesome, good guy. He won all the stuff as a kid. He's good-looking, but he's not a jerk good-looking guy. He's like the guy who helps the kind of the clumsy, ugly kid who like can barely keep up with the soldiers. See, now notice again, I'm not writing any damn backstory down. It's all just go with it. Go with it. You don't need to write anything down. You can do that later. Do that when it starts to crystallize. For now, just feel it out. So let's start with what I think is my most interesting character, the one that I'm pretty sure I want to go with, which is my little goblin rogue here. So I was kind of inspired by a viewer who got on Facebook and did like a Facebook D&D session with me. And we actually spotted a little goblin saboteur named Stills. And just in our little mini role-playing scenario, I could have killed him from up in a tree with a bow and arrow, but I didn't, you know, killing for sport, there's no honor in that. And killing the weak is also totally unsatisfying and dishonorable. So I let him go. No doubt only to fetch more goblins for later. They always move in numbers. Anyway, I love how he created this character called Stills. And so I wanted to make a rogue who's a goblin called Stills, who actually realizes the error of his ways and wants to do good with his life. And so he still has some of the ugly of a goblin, but he gets himself some nicer clothing, he gets himself some better equipment, and he goes out into the world seeking to do good. So, at the behest of the Red Mage, he arrives to face the ordeal. Now, what are we going to need? What kind of game tools are we going to need to face the ordeal? The very first thing that we have to do is walk up these stairs. Now, the Red Mage has cast a spell on the stairs that there's just a wall of almost impenetrable force, but with a great effort of will, one can stride up to the top stair. So how am I going to measure if Stills, the rogue, is going to be able to do it? So first of all, let me put the name down, because I think I'm pretty sure on the name. Stills, the goblin. Okay? All right, next up, I have got the all-important, ever-famous, often copied, never quite duplicated 6 statistics. So you guys all know about D&D. You know, you got your strength, your dex, your con, your whiz, your int, and your charisma, right? Everybody's played at least enough tabletop to know that you have a score that represents your strength, how strong you are, your dexterity, how agile, your constitution, which is kind of like how thick you are, how much beer you can drink before you barf, how strong of a punch you can take in the stomach before you buckle over, how much poison you can breathe in before you give in to the fumes. That's constitution. Then you have your wisdom, which is not a fact-based intelligence, but more of an intuition. Then you have intelligence, which is just straight-up smarts. And finally, charisma, one of the most interesting statistics, which help you intimidate, persuade, and beguile others. Also can help test if you have the strength of will to resist being beguiled or persuaded by others. So those are your 6 statistics. So if you're following along on your pen and paper at home, get your 46 out and write down your 6 stats. So just like I did, strength, dex, con, whiz, intelligence, and charisma. Get them written down, and then we are going to do this the old school way. So every score is going to be a number from 1 to 18. And I think you can probably guess 18 is very, very cool. And hey, welcome new viewers. It's nice to see you. Have a pretty high... Widow is low in all of these. Yes, okay. I knew there was going to be some form of trolling like that. Okay, so different dungeon masters will tell you different ways to roll up your scores. Let's just make it simple, shall we? If it's high fantasy, kind of like heroic fantasy, like you want people jumping and flipping, and then like a mofo like slides down the banister, jumps off it, lands on the shield, stabs the dude in the nose. Or, you know, a wizard floats up in the air and casts a massive fireball and all the goblins die. If you want that kind of heroic fantasy, then roll up your stats with 46 and dump the low one. So let's just play with strength for a second. Alrighty, so there I got a 1, so I throw it out. Yeah, great. Alright, so there, throwing out the 1 again, I wound up with a 13. And here, throwing out the 2, I wound up with a 10. And throwing out the low one, I wound up with a 12. So as you can see, rolling with the 46 and throw out the lowest one will give you usually 10 or better stats. This makes you a better than average hero. Your chances of getting a really low score are quite low. So once again, you take 46, roll them, and discard the lowest one. So I imagine you guys can almost see my dice, but there my lowest is a 2. I discard it, and I still wind up with a 13. That's high fantasy. High fantasy, heroic fantasy. The odds are in your favor as being a heroic character. Now, I am not going to do it that way. I'm going to go fucking hardcore. So I'm going to not take the throwaway dice, and I'm going to do it raw. Now, some people will, DMs, will allow you to roll 6 scores and assign them as you will to build your character. Other DMs will allow you to roll 46, throw out the lowest one 6 times, and then assign the scores. So you can build a character what you want. So, in the case of a rogue, I definitely want high dexterity, right? I want to be able to shoot a bow with precision. I want to be able to jump and flip and be sneaky, right? So I'm going to roll 6 times and take my highest score and stick it on dexterity. This is the oldest trick in the D&D book. You know what? Where I come from, that's not how we roll. What we did is we did a sequence. That means you roll your stats in sequence with no options, and you only use 3d6. Kind of brutal, right? It puts a lot more pressure on character progression. Now, in recent times, D&D has become much more of a short-term, like, thrill fix, and it's actually made the game much more mathematically exaggerated. In the old days, you started very low, and so when you started getting to 3rd, 4th level, you were psyched. I mean, you got a +1 sword. You're like, your mind was blown. Nowadays, you're rolling into the game with like +2s and +3s on things, and you're just not that impressed with stuff. And I think it actually erodes the quality of the game. So here we go. Enough talk. I'm going to roll up 6 stats for my rogue, and then we're going to see if he can walk up the forbidden stairway. Boom! Nice. Right off the bat, I got a 12 strength. By the way, I'm using a pen here because that's how hardcore I am. I don't use no damn pencil. Okay, this is the most important roll of the character right here, the dexterity. Not bad. An 11. It's definitely not good, but it's not shit, so that's important. Next up, we have Constitution, which I've got another 11. And now I'm looking at Wisdom. Ooh, 6. actually fitting to a goblin. So 6 wisdom is probably about the wisdom of like a 16-year-old. No offense, 16-year-olds. Actually, let's just say a 6 wisdom is about Wero level. Oh, look at this. A 14 intelligence. And finally, charisma. Boosh! Look at that. 16 charisma. Now, this is what makes non-buildable, non-configurable character rolling so damn cool. Now, what would I have done if I was rolling up a rogue and I had a bunch of options of where to assign my scores? Well, I would have put a high score on Dex. I probably would have put a high score on Strength so I can do a bunch of damage. And then maybe the other stuff I'm not worried about. Because I've played D&D already, so I know that Strength heightens my damage and Dexterity heightens roguelike abilities, stuff like that. These are probably tropes that even the most beginner player knows about. But I'm not allowed to do any of that stuff. I'm not allowed to use any of that knowledge. Instead, I just relied on the gods to hand me my stats. So now, I have a high charisma, high intelligence goblin rogue. That is freaking awesome. So he's like really charming. He's strangely good looking. He's like, it's Elijah Wood. I've got Elijah Wood as my rogue. Now that is cool, and his name is Stills the Goblin. Whew, okay, man, it gets a little exciting. So I'm not going to be that good with a bow. I'm honestly not that great with like sword or dagger. When it comes to wisdom, just count me out. But my ability to persuade and to talk my way out of situations, very, very impressive. Actually, probably like I could be the governor of a town eventually, which is an interesting ambition for a rogue, especially a goblin. Another great thing about not being able to assign your scores is that it completely decimates the hope of doing min-max character building. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with that term, it basically means I'm going to work the rules over so that I get the ultimate math on my character. Fuck you, get out of my game. I don't like players like that. Nobody does. It sucks. Don't do it. Just let nature take its course and create an interesting and different individual rather than just some guy who's always rolling 3d6 damage. Okay, so the second step you want to do is just bonuses. Really easy stuff. On your rolls, you're going to want bonuses. Bonuses are cool. So if my roll is an 18, fucking bomb-ass roll, by the way, I'm going to use that for my stairs roll. If I can add anything to that, that's what I want, because I want to beat numbers. So you guys know my rule. We're going to make the difficulty of this room a 12. So every roll in this room, you're going to have to beat a 12. I just rolled an 18, and this is a strength check, remember. So I've got a +1 on my strength because of my stat. So real quick, if you guys are rolling up with me, if you've got a 10 or 11 as your stat, no bonus on that one. If you've got a 12 to 13 on a stat, that's a +1, 14 to 15 +2, 16 to 17 +3, 18 to 19 +4. Makes sense, right? So I have a 16 charisma, for example, so it's going to be +3 on charisma rolls, +2 on intelligence rolls. I'm going to be minus, I think, 1 on wisdom rolls, and no bonus on dex or constitution. Now, you can get into all the uses of these bonuses in time. By the way, welcome new viewers. For now, only one matters, which is strength. So I've got a +1. I rolled an 18. That's a 19 modified. All I had to do was beat a 12. I walk up the forbidden stairs. Yes! Stills the Goblin is in the ordeal. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. I'm done with Stills for now. I need to move on to my other characters. I think you can see where I'm going with this. This is like playing Survivor. All right. Now you guys know me. It's all about practice, not knowing the rules. So we're just going to roll another character. Let's do the Cleric. And hey Joey Clegg, what up, dude? And oh, Tiger Style's up in the place. That's cool. Greetings, Critical Hit. Good to see you, dude. Welcome to the channel. Gonna take a drink for you guys. All right, help me out, folks. I'm gonna roll up a Cleric, and I would like to hear what I should name him. Let's name this Cleric. I've got a few ideas written down here, but jump on the channel, and as I roll up his stats, we'll figure out a name for my Cleric. This is him right here. Woo! He is the red and gold elven lord, come to deliver the word of righteousness to the heathen beasts of the world. All right. So here we go again. We're going to roll 6 stats, no throwaway dice, no assigning scores. This shit is hardcore, man. Like, you could come up with basically like a one-legged monkey rolling this way. All right, here we go. Strength for the cleric. Ooh, 12. Nice. And we got dexterity. How agile is this cleric? Ooh, nice. Another 12. The gods smile on him, as they should, since he's their servant. Constitution. How tough? Boom! Look at that. 17 natural. I'm going to drink to that one. That means I just rolled a tank. Now, for those of you in the know, 17, I'm going to be at +3 on Constitution. That means every time I roll hit points for this guy, and when he levels up, I add 3. So I'm going to have a high hit point tank. Wisdom. Oh, God, this is the worst one for him to do bad on, but it's no penalty. It's just a 10. Intelligence. Another 12. Totally awesome. And finally, Charisma, which I actually think is the most important stat for a cleric if you roleplay him. 4. Oh, my God. 6. So the first interesting thing in the game for this character is trying to explain why he is so off-putting to people. So it could be that he's overbearing. He's constantly talking about the visions of Atar, like, the gods have descended upon us and demanded we make sandwiches. And everybody's just like, dude, shut up. Or maybe he has like a terrible scar down one eye. That's a lot easier to roleplay. He was branded or got a bad tattoo of a Chinese character that actually just says, I'm a dummy. Something like that. Okay, so you got your stats now. Get your bonuses in. So I'm +1 strength, +1 dex, +3 constitution, no bonus on wisdom, and +1 on intelligence, and -1 on charisma. So he's actually easily swayed. This creates an interesting group dynamic right away. Stills the goblin could easily be ordering the cleric around. I mean, that is a fascinating world to be a part of. Hey, good to see new viewers come on. Nice stat rolls there. Boom indeed. Yeah, buddy. Damn right. So if you guys are following along at home and rolling up your stats, man, do it this way. The victories are so much sweeter because you did it legit. You didn't throw away the low dice, and you also didn't assign the scores. You got what the gods gave you. So anybody got ideas for a cleric? Oh, he's got Tiger Style is giving Wero some heavy trolling there. So anybody got names for Stinky Pinky? Stinky Pinky. Oh, Eric the cleric. You guys are horrible. These names are horrible. Leper. Leper's a cool name. Leper is a cool name for a cleric. I was going to call him Elder, but Leper is not bad. That's just a little like raw and literal. Okay, so now that we have a strength bonus for Leper is a really great concept, Thunderfist. I need a name, though, a name that goes with that, like Scar. Actually, Scar is pretty dope. So something besides Scar, let me know. I also like how you chose the class before rolling the stats. Well, hell yeah, man. I mean, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, critical hit. Yeah, man. You don't want to be rolling up your stats and go like, oh, this would make a good cleric. No, that is another form of min-maxing. And you guys know how I feel about min-maxers. Get the fuck out of my game. You are not welcome here. I want people who are here to have fun, not exploit the fucking game. Because if it starts here, it will never goddamn end, I swear. Okay, let's see if Scar can get up the stairs. So he is trying to beat the room challenge of 12, and he's got a +1 bonus on this roll to beat his strength check. Another fucking 18. I am on fire! Boom! I rebuke your spell, Red Wizard. I've come this far, I'll not stop now. Alright, I like this. I like the leper theme. Epona. Tear, or is that tear? Scorn. Oh, Scorn is dope. Okay, Scorn it is. I'm writing that down. So this is part of why he has a low charisma as a cleric, is his name is Scorn. I mean, he's just... Right away, you're kind of like, what? Scorn. Scorn the disappointed. Scorn the angry. Scorn is awesome. It's a little harder to say than Scar, though. Scorn the Scar is what we could call it. Scorn the Scarred. Anyways, who said that? I prefer Gene Shalit. Skip Epona. Epona is the freaking horse from Zelda, you monkey. All right, great. So we've got our cleric rolled up, and he made it up the stairs. So we've got 2 classes left, fighter and wizard. So I think I'm going to do the wizard first, the old man. Now I'm going to take a bold move here. And this would be something that normally you would interact with your DM to do, but I'm the player and the DM right now. Because my wizard is so old, and I'm wanting to call him Mortimer, because Mortimer is so old, I'm going to take this penalty dice off of one of his stats. Because he's old. The guy's like in his 80s. Please no 6s. Okay, 2. So we're going to pick one of his stats at the end, and that stat will be penalized by 2. So let's roll up Mortimer the Wizard. Let me get that name down. Mortimer and Scorn. All right, rolling strength. Wow, he's a spry old bugger. He's sitting pretty on a 12. That's a +1. Next up, his dexterity. Okay, this is appropriate. He's got an 8 dexterity. Next up, we've got his constitution. That's also an 8. Next up, we've got his wisdom. Oof, terrible. He's got a 5. Yeah, man, age has not done him well. He can't remember anything. Okay, most important roll, intelligence. Not bad, 12. So he's at +1 there. And then finally, charisma, which I would love it to be high, 13. So he's at +1 there. By far my weakest character. Okay, so we're going to subtract 2, the penalty dice, from which stat? A 1d6 will choose the stat for us. The 4th stat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, his wisdom is a 3. That's a -2. So he is about as wise as like a 3rd grader. So I think he has pushed magic too far. He's still intelligent, but he has read so many of the arcane and forbidden writings that he can barely remember normal human behavior, or even what's best in many situations. So you have a bit of a difficult character to play here. This is a wizard who is poor at strategy, but masterful, not, I wouldn't say masterful, but at least good enough to function at memorizing and using magic. Pretty damn interesting character. He's just old, but his will is still pretty strong. He's got a 13 charisma. So he still wants to be out there doing good. He just can't remember stuff. And he's weak and slow. Either way, he's got a -1. No, he's got a +1 on strength. -1 on dex and constitution. So let's put these dice away, no longer needed. All right. Whew. Now he has got to ascend the forbidden stairs. We have some stuff as familiar as the 2 hamsters that follow me. So old. Wither Tank the Blue. All right, awesome. Vlogmoo is playing along, rolling up his own guys. Scorn the Flats. You know, I'm not into the whole name the noun. I don't really follow that formula. Okay, so here we go. Let's get up the forbidden stairs with Mortimer. So he is at a +1 to try to beat a 12. He rolls a 13 and he hobbles up. I still matter. I'm not sure. I think I'd better remove my pants. That would be a behavior congruent with a low wisdom. It is unwise to remove thy pants during combat. Okay, finally, the fighter. So let's set up our stats. Strength, dex, con, whiz, int, and charisma. Now, by now, you guys have been rolling along with me at home. So you've written down your stats. This is the 4th time. So now it's really easy to remember what the stats are. This is a much better way to learn the frickin' game than to open up your book. Fuck the book for now. The book will be handy when you understand the game. So you're getting a sense for how the stats are working. You're getting a sense for what you want out of these rolls. You want a lot. All right. So I'm getting excited. Must be the beer. Actually, beer doesn't get excited. It gets people excited. That's why God made it. All right. Let's roll up our fighter, shall we? Oh, wait, we need a name. I mean, the guy is definitely like pointy helmet knight, so he's probably a sir or something. Withertank Van Winkle is absolutely fantastic. But I think Withertank the Blue is really, really good. Alzheimer. Oh my God. Alzheimer is an amazingly cruel name for a wizard, but that is fucking beautiful. Mortimer, his nickname is Alzheimer. Who posted that one? Oh, Tiger Style again. Thanks, Tiger Style. Man, there was a dope DJ back in the 90s named Tiger Style. Loved his shit. All right. Here we go. We're going to roll up stats for our fighter, Sir Helm. Actually, Helm is a dope name for a fighter. I'm going to go with that until you guys give me a better alternative. So, he probably had a name when he was back in the Royal Army, but he's left that life behind. And for years now, he's just been known as Helm, a retainer for hire. So his strength roll. Whoosh. Oh, God, it's a 9. That sucks. Next. Ooh, 16 dexterity. Okay, that just put a character on Helm. Constitution. Looks like an 11. Wisdom. Looks like a 9. Intelligence. Nice. 13. And finally, charisma. Looks like a 10. So he's looking at +3 on dex and +1 on intelligence. Those are his only bonuses. So this is not going to be a high-powered super fighter. Now, for those of you guys who don't know the game, the stats you really want on a high-powered fighter would be strength and constitution. So like, smashing things and then taking hits. But this guy is an interesting fighter. He is a dexterity-based fighter. So as I evolve him, I'm going to want to seek out weapons and abilities that are going to utilize that stat. But I don't have to poop my pants and give up on the character right away because what I thought he should be isn't what I rolled. Now, of everyone we rolled, he's going to have the hardest time getting up the Forbidden Stairs. He has no strength bonus. So he needs to roll a raw 12 or better on this one. You guys are seeing how it's all come together. Come on, baby. He rolls a crit 1. A natural 1. He falls on his face. Actually, not only does he fall down, the red mage is so disappointed in him, he draws him up and makes him one of his dire servants. And we'll get to what that means later. Oh, Helm. You never stood a chance, my friend. Now, this is interesting. A lot of times I wind up playing fighters. I love fighters. I love how they can pick up all kinds of different weapons. They tend to be total badasses. They tend to be really tough. They tend to be the leader. It all makes sense. But since I'm letting fate kind of set the stage a little more, I got more interesting choices now ahead of me. I'm definitely not going to play that fighter. He didn't even make it up the stairs. He's not a legitimate choice. Now, you don't have to use the ordeal of the red mage to choose your character. So if you really wanted to be a fighter, stick with Helm. It's all good. Roll him up there, see if you can survive the ordeal, and, work your way into the character. But for the sake of this exercise, Helm is out. You're done, dude. And he twists his ankle. Yeah. So, I've risen from your maze and defeated your challenges. Come down here and face me, Red Wizard. Ah! Lands. Takes 6 damage to the face. Okay. You have just overcome the first and most fundamental element of rolling a character. You picked a miniature, you picked a bunch of classes, and you started rolling stats, and because you're such a freaking cool person, you did it the old school way. Now, if your co-players are doing heroic fantasy, then don't be left behind, man. Use the freaking 4 dice and throw away the low one, or you will be the gimp of the group, and you don't want to be that. But I would recommend, if you're just now getting into 5th edition really gets mathematical bloat really quickly. So you want to be erring on the side of being a weakling, and then work your way into the adventures and into the abilities and into the loot. If you roll up powerful, it can really kill the appeal of the chase of the game. So be a badass, use 3d6, and we are done with the the opening phase there, which is like get your stats, get your bonuses. So the only part that may be a little convoluted for you newcomers out there rolling characters is what bonuses correlate to what stats. So it's basically just an incremental system. It's really simple. It just gives the game more room to evolve before the bonus numbers change. So 10 or 11, no bonus. 12 to 13 on a stack, +1. 14, 15, +2. 16, 17, +3, and 18 and 19, +4. If you wind up with anybody with a 20 stat as a level 1 character, you're a crazy person. You need to go away and live in a shed. Okay, we're past the first step there. It is getting warm in here, I think, because I'm getting so agitato, as we say. The amazing agitato. That'll be my magician name. Well, what should we do next? So we've gotten through the opening piece. What is that? Twink staff holder, house of... Oh, you guys are still in the frickin' name phase? Helm Stairs Bane. Poor Helm. Oh my gosh. Helm is nice. The fighter should have a singular name, or like a word that says what they are. Yeah. Thanks, Vlogmoo. I appreciate that, but he became the gimp of the game. Okay, so we're down now to thinking about Mortimer Alzheimer, Scorn, the Cleric, and Stills the Rogue, Stills the Goblin. And Stills is definitely the character that I want to be. So what does it mean now? What does it mean to be a rogue, to be a wizard, or to be a cleric? How do I make this character more detailed? Now, this is where stuff gets a little more interesting. The first thing that the Red Wizard is going to do is walk down. Greetings, heroes, and as for you, Helm Stairs Bane. But as for the other 3 of you who made it under the stairs, be smoked with pain. And he zaps them. Oh my God, no! They all take 1 of these in damage. Ooh, 5? That's ridiculous. I'm going to twink that roll. They all took 3 damage, okay? That's like one of them's going to die. They all take 3 damage. Well, Hankerin now, why are you doing damage to my guy? I don't even know how many hit points I have. That's what's next. So, each of them, you're going to need a little slot that says HP, HP, and HP. And we'll keep Helm going anyway, HP. Now, you're going to have to look at the book. Sorry, it was inevitable. Especially if you don't have the game memorized, this is a great time to look at it for the first time. Which is, what the hell hit points does my guy have? I can't remember. This is the most important page in the book for new players rolling characters. It is page 45. It will go down in infamy. Page 45, the class chart. This is a nice little chart. It gives you all the fundamental information for the classes right off the bat. Very easy to use. For first level, just take whatever your hit die is for your character and take its maximum. So for a cleric, it's D8. So you get 8 hit points. Oh, you're not done. What's your constitution bonus? Mine is fucking +3. So right off the bat, I've got 11 hit points on Scorn. As for Mortimer, let's see. Wizard, boop, D6. So I get a 6, and he has no constitution bonus. 6 hit points for Mortimer. As for Stills, no constitution bonus. He is a rogue. D8, so he's got 8 hit points. And finally, Helm, who is just terrible. No bonus, and he's a D10. He has 10 hit points. That's it for now as far as the book goes. Now, again, to make this a pleasant experience, it's really nice to just look up one little thing in the book and put that fucker away. Because it is a wormhole of stuff, and it will start crisscrossing you with stats and go fill this out and add this to that. And no. Let's get the hang of hit points before we move on, right? Hokey pokies. Determines how many times you can shake it all about. You mean when you... Well, that's what it's all about. Okay. Everyone just took 3 damage. Remember, the red mage just walked down and smoked them. So, how do we track damage in Drunkens and Dragons? Well, you all know how. Everybody took 3, so they all get 3 on their pain dice. Now, another way that this can be done is not on the board, but on your character sheet. We could do it right here, you know. We could put it right on Stills. We could put it on Mortimer, and we could put it on Scorn, just like that. It's a little more difficult on a book. It's a little easier on the board. But that's how we do it in Drunkens and Dragons land. We don't write things down. We use dice whenever possible to track numbers because writing these down is a friggin' mess. Okay. Whew. So if they've all taken 3 damage, man, Mortimer is like at half hit points already. There you go. You just got through the next big step of a character. So take a look at what you've done here. It's like, interesting. Well, my wizard has really low hit points. Scorn is freaking awesome. He's got 11, and Stills is right behind him with an 8. Now Helm has 10, but honestly, Helm is a dead duck. Mortimer gets even more interesting now. He's low hit points, no con bonus. He's definitely going to be a delicate wizard who's not that powerful. And that sounds like, well, dude, I don't want to be delicate and not that powerful in the game. That sounds terrible. But when you're thinking about story, you're thinking about role-playing, drinking, having fun, those exact things are what make the game fun, not your ability to do 50 damage. So y'all hanging with me still? How we doing over there? Okay, looks like everybody's just leaning back and smoking them if they got them. Drink those beers and drink that wormwood and stick with me, folks. Okay, great. And you know, this is about the party size we had last time. We had about 25 people, I think. But after the live show went into the archive, man, we got a ton of views on that thing. So really glad to have everybody here. This is a hell of a D&D party. I hope you're having fun. Stay with me. Keep on rolling. Keep your character journal out. And let's keep going. Okay, so we've got stats, bonuses, and hit points. What else can this stuff be used for? The Red Mage is not pleased that no one died just then. He just cast a spell and no one died. So he lifts his mighty fist again and slams the stairs. The whole board shakes with unearthly fury. And the 3 heroes begin to lose their footing. So now we are getting ready to make an ability check. Everybody make a dex check against the room. So remember, the room is a difficulty 12, and let's make dexterity checks right here. First of all, Scorn, who's got a +1, makes it, rolls a 19. Next of all, Alzheimer has a -1 on his dex, so he's going to take 1 from this roll. 6, he misses it. And finally, Stills, who has no bonus on this roll. 16, makes it. Mortimer falls down onto the stairs again. No, I swear I'm up to the challenge. The Red Mage mocks him. But no damage is taken. These 2 guys successfully navigate the rattling earth. Next, the Red Mage demands they all pay penitence, and he casts Charm Person on them. Charm Person is basically a spell where he's like, you are now doing my bidding. Fall to 1 knee or be destroyed. Fall to 1 knee now. And now we have to make a saving throw. Well, Hankerin. What the hell is a freaking saving throw? I think I've heard of those. You know, like people joking around. But what is it really? Saving throw is the next biggest mechanic in tabletop next to a success roll. So what we've been doing so far is I roll my d20, I try to beat the room with a modifier. Sometimes I'll roll at advantage, which we'll talk about later. That's a success roll, a thing that I'm doing against the room. I'm beating the room with my roll. I'm succeeding or failing. A saving throw is the opposite. A saving throw is when something happens to you and you need to passively or reactively resist it or avoid it. Now, why are these things different? They're different because it creates a lot more interest in the game. If you were just rolling stat bonuses all the time on stuff, it loses some of the character that the game really gets. So it's a mechanic that's worth having. Believe me, you know me, if it were redundant to success throws, I would just toss the damn thing out. But saving throws are very good. Also, a lot of the stuff you're going to be reading in your cool books eventually is going to talk about what saves are needed to do what and how to do that. And that adds to some of the mathematic wealth and richness of the game. So don't discard saving throws. What are my friggin' saving throws, you ask? Well, I'll tell you what. There's a couple of them. Now go back to handy-dandy page 45. So far, this entire process, we have looked at one page in the book. And that's a good way to be. Now, you look at page 45, and then over here you're going to see saving throw proficiencies. Don't worry about what that means for the moment. So what you want to do is write down saves for each of your guys. Saves, and fuck Helm. I'm over him. There's a clever way to do this. So a saving throw can either be, what is it? It can be any stat, right? I don't know. Sure. I think you can have a saving throw based on any stat. But if you are proficient in that saving throws stat, you will get a +2 on it. Now, this I know I just threw you for a loop. This is weird, but this is part of what gives the classes their character. This is an essential part of what differentiates the classes. Right now, we just have like people, but we are going to start differentiating them. So for Scorn, if you look at Cleric on page 45, he is proficient in wisdom and charisma. So if you want, you can just put a big star by wisdom and charisma. And then somewhere just say star equals +2. That's an easy way to do it. So on Mortimer, he's a wizard. Intelligence and wisdom are his. So star, star. And on Rogue, he has got Dex and Intelligence. Oh, awesome! So he's going to be great at Intelligence saves. And fuck Helm. Okay, so remember, if you are proficient at a thing, you will be +2. Now, way in the future, after you've been playing for 6 months, you might level up enough where you go to a +3 proficiency. But for now, all your proficiencies will be +2. So all your skills will be +2. Proficient saves will be +2. Okay, whoa, what does that mean, dude? You just got complex on me. I know. This is the first hard thing to get into, but you're going to love it. Let's take Stills, for example. He wants to resist Charm Person. And for the sake of argument, we're going to use an intelligence save on this spell. So he feels the red mage digging into his mind with the Charm Person spell. Get out of my mind! I'm smarter than you. I will resist. I will visualize the face of my father. He's got to make an intelligence save against the red mage. The red mage is equally powerful as the room, so it's a 12. Come on, Stills. He's a +4 on this roll to beat a 12. And he makes a 7. Damn. He takes a knee. He yields to the red mage. And now for Scorn. He is +3 on this roll, beating a 12. Makes a 14. He strides forward. I will not kneel to you. And finally, Alzheimer, who is a +3 on this roll to beat a 12. He also succeeds, strides forth. I'm not out of the fight yet. I'm an old person, and I'm easily caricaturized. What's going on in the chat there? I'm out for the night. Joey Clegg, good to have you, man. Peace out. I thought, oh, Mark. Hey, man, welcome back. Good to hear you pumping iron on a Friday night. That's some dope-ass stuff there, man. You're a big old badass. Thanks for showing up. We're just rolling up 4 characters and putting them through the ordeal of the red mage. So nice to have you, and just kind of drinking beer and talking loudly for no reason. Okay. We're neck deep in it right now. We are in the thick of it right now, rolling up a character. So I hope you're following along. Proficiency got a little weird on us. If I'm proficient in a thing, I'm +2 at that thing, on top of whatever other bonus. Now, I know already you're probably hating bonuses. You're hating numbers and adding and all that stuff. Don't worry, that's the end of it. No more adding. It's just the bonus from your stats and then the proficiency piece. So as you can see, the proficiency piece is going to give different character classes different strengths as they go through different challenges. So what's another way to show how it plays out? The red mage is angered, steps forward, says, "You're all afraid of me." Casts a fear spell. Our characters must now save versus fear, which is a charisma-based save in this case. Don't worry about anything from the books you may or may not have read. So charisma-based save. Who has a star next to charisma? Oh, Scorn does. And the other two guys don't. But the stat, interesting. It's anybody's game here. So let's roll the save. So we're beating a 12. So Scorn says, "I'm not afraid of you." And he's -1 on his charisma, but he's proficient, so he's +1 on the roll. Oh, he fails. He makes an 8. He does not beat the room. He's afraid. Takes his damage with him. Next up, Alzheimer. He's at an 11 +1. Oh, he just barely makes it. "I'm not afraid of you, you witch." And finally, Stills regains his feet. He's a +3 on this roll. 18. Gets the best roll of everyone. Actually steps forward into the fear. "I'm not afraid. I'm the character that the player actually wants to be." And it's bolstering me. This is a little laggy. Oh, that sucks. Are we lagging out? That's a bummer. Warrior in real life, just trying to be more badass. Like, keep talking about Hankerin. Yeah, buddy. What's that? I need to find more liquor. Okay, yeah, go get some more. Go get some more wormwood, Vlogmo. Well, sorry if we're lagging. We are subject to the same crappy internet as the rest of us. You know how it is. I don't know why. I think we've got a hard line running, but hey, you know how it goes. Al Gore fucked up. That's why you're lagging out on character creation. So if you guys are following along, right on. Woo! What is the recap here? Well, Scorn ran away in fear, and we're going to let him recover. So if you're following along with me, you can see right away the dynamics that are starting to be created in the characters. And they aren't dynamics that I forced into the game. They're kind of just the results of a little bit of chance and putting them through tests. So already we kind of have some stereotypes, you know, like we know that Alzheimer is the weakest guy in the group, but he just keeps making saves. That is a personality. I don't need to write down 15 different things about like who Alzheimer is and why he's this and why he's that. No, just let the game start to build who you are. If all you do is succeed, even though you have terrible stats, that's a character. And I think you guys can see where I'm taking the whole thing. So if you're new to the game, or if you're reinventing your game, or you want to come at it with more vigor, this is a great way to start. Keep your shit simple. Let the dice do what they're going to do, and quit trying to force it to be all cool all the time. Just let it happen and go with it, baby. It's all good. Okay, so we've gotten through the first wave of shit. Still got 20 people partying with us. Great to have you all here. I'm straight edge. I was bloody blah, and I'm proud of being sober. Hell yeah, awesome, Fat Adam. Got a friend who does the same thing. It's good for him. It's good for you. It's good for everybody around you. Stay strong. Be a big old badass. But don't hate on anybody else for their choices either. Let them be. Let them drink. Okay, so we got through rolling up stats. We got through bonuses that come from stats, and then we got into proficiency just on saves. I think the red mage is a little tired of casting spells. He reascends to his throne, and he waves his hand, and his two goblin warriors jump out and attack Stills the goblin. Wait a minute, Hankerin Fernail, you might say. You can't just run combat all of a sudden. I don't even have my character figured out. But that's just it. Running the combat is how you figure the character out. Don't do it all up front. So they run up. How do I even know what the hell's about to happen? Well, if you guys are familiar at least with the fundamentals of tabletop, the bad guys are going to take a turn. They're going to attack. They're going to do some damage. and then Stills is going to take a turn. He's going to attack, and he's going to do some damage. Okay, that's really all that's going to freaking happen. It is extremely freaking simple. So let's get the two goblins to attack first. Okay? Wait, what are they attacking? Well, how hard is it to hit Stills? Well, I don't know. For that, you're going to need a cool stat called Armor Class. So on all your characters, put an AC, AC, AC. Armor Class is a combination of how quick and nimble you are, as well as how much armor you're wearing. So it is an armor stat plus your dex bonus. So, yeah, leather armor is what Stills is wearing, rogue armor. And that, again, you might need to look in the book, but you have a cool DM right here. You got Hankerin with you. So I can tell you just off the top of my head that leather armor is 11 plus your dex equals your armor class. So for Stills, that is going to be 11. He has no dex bonus, remember? So he's pretty damn easy to hit. He's one easier to hit than the room itself. The room is a challenge level 12. All right. The goblins are attacking. They have no bonus on their roll. They got to beat an 11. The first goblin rolls. Hits. The second goblin rolls. Hits. Oof. This could be the end for Stills right here. So they both roll. They have their little daggers. They each do 1d4 damage. Fucking 4. 6 damage total. Stills has 5 hit points left, and he's dropped. Gah! Now, before you give up and think Stills is gone for good, let's see what happens to the other two. The goblins move over to Alzheimer, and they attack. Alzheimer's just wearing cloth. Cloth is just 10 plus the dex bonus. So his armor class is actually 9. He's 3 easier to hit than the room. First goblin, miss. Second goblin, hit. Second goblin does 2 damage, 5 damage total, and he is still up. The goblins move over to Scorn. They don't have a chance against Scorn. Scorn is wearing plate mail because he's a fucking paladin, cleric, badass, righteous dude. Woo! All right. So he has got 15 plus dex as his armor class, which is 16 total armor class. Very nice. These guys need to roll a 16 or better to hit him. First goblin, 16 hits. Second goblin misses. First goblin does 3 damage. Remember, Scorn has that crazy high constitution, so he had 11 hit points, so he still has 5 left. He's killing it. Holy shit. The goblin's back up. And Stills regains his feet. What did we just learn? Whoa. I just got my ass kicked as a melee fighter being a rogue. How did Alzheimer survive? This is a great moment where just because you're weak and you got crummy stats, it doesn't mean you're just going to die all the time. If you notice, Stills was the only guy where they happened to get 2 successes. So he took a beating. Now, for the sake of the exercise, the red mage heals all 3 heroes of their damage. You are whole again. I see your noble combatants. Step forward. He's beginning to win them over. What is going on in the chat channel? Now, it's because I'm not talking directly to you guys, and I'm sorry. Unless you ask a cop, like SG one time. You guys are all nuts. You're all a bunch of nut jobs. Well, I hope I'm not putting you to sleep, but I hope somebody out there, a lot of people have been asking me exactly how you roll up a new character. I don't get it. Help me understand D&D. Well, here we are, man. We're rolling up some characters. All right. So now you have got stats. You've got bonuses. You've got save proficiencies. And you have hit points and armor class. Man, you're almost done. Now, we were so busy doing battles and tests and rising up the stairs and fighting goblins, you probably didn't notice, but we rolled a freaking character up. All right, now there's some more detail to do, and it comes in the attacking. Stills has had enough. He's a goblin, and he doesn't like to be hit by goblins. So he jumps forward and attacks this goblin. And you're like, well, attacks with what? Actually, I don't think he jumps forward. I think he pulls out his short bow. Unleashes an arrow. Now, there are rules in the book about how much gold you get to start with, how much starting equipment you can buy, and what weapons you will be proficient with as a character class. And again, there's only one page you really need to look at. It's page 45, Rogue Weapon Proficiencies. Simple weapons, including short bow, crossbows, long sword. So we're going to give him a long sword and a crossbow, or a long sword and a short bow. All right. So he takes a shot with the short bow. How does he do that? Well, first of all, he's proficient, and it's a dex-based weapon. So just write down short bow. You're proficient in it, so that's a +2. It's a dex-based weapon, so that's another +1. So when you roll your short bow, you are +3 to hit. Now, the goblins are part of the room, so they're a 12 to hit. Here we go. 17. Boom. Hits his target. Short bow damage, if I remember correctly, is 1d6. Does 5. Lays him out. Boosh. Nicely done, Stills. Okay. So that's a little taste of what Stills is going to be doing. Taking bow shots, rolling 1d6 damage. Now, when you get better at your character, you know that's coming when you take bow shots, so you just roll them together. I'm +3 on the roll. So 21, I did 2 damage. It's very fast. So if your DM moves quickly and he's like, Stills, what are you doing? I'll take a bow shot. Hit for 3 damage. That's all you need. The DM will mark it down. You can move on with life. Stills, fire your bow. Boom. Roll both dice together. 7 +3. I only hit a 10. The room is, no, I missed. So you see how simple it gets. And right away, you're getting into the feel for the character. Whoa, I'm Stills. I don't have to go over to everybody. I'm just like, each time it's one of these. It's one of these. Is this something I want to be doing? This is kind of dope. Ooh, ooh. But I'm just like posted up. I don't have to run toward the enemy because if I remember correctly, the last time I got in melee combat, I got my ass kicked. All right. Next, we have Alzheimer. Now, he's a mage. He is going to have to get into spell selection. Oof. Welcome to one of the toughest things in D&D. This is a great resource video, says Vlog Moo. I don't know what that means, but you know, the world needs more resources, right? Resources are good. I learned that from StarCraft. All right, so you're rolling along with me right now. Your rogue feels like, yeah, I feel like I could do some damage with this guy. You move to your wizard. Now, when you're a wizard, get used to looking at your book because you're going to have to look at spells quite a bit. And during creation, there's some stuff to do. You can get into it. There are limits on how many spells you're going to get and all this garbage. I'm not going to get into it right now. Suffice it to say, you're going to get some cantrips. Cantrip is a level 0 spell. It is the simplest spell that a wizard can get. So we're only going to give you one. Now, in my campaign, nobody gets anything until you go into the world and do it and earn it. So I'm going to give you a character creation as an evil DM. One fucking cantrip. I know, it's crazy. And what I'm going to give you is Ray of Frost. Okay? Classic, old spell. Been around since the late 70s. Let me look at, see what I'm doing right now? This is the worst part of the game. I know you guys are bored right now. I sure as fuck am. Alright, Ray of Frost. Looks like, on a hit, makes a ranged spell attack, does 1d8 cold. Great. So this doesn't use a save or anything complex. He's basically throwing an ice baseball at the mofo, or a beam that he has to aim just right. It's a lot like shooting a bow, but actually it's identical. There's no but involved. So I'm going to use dexterity. It's a nimbleness. How cleverly can I aim this thing, cast the spell, and do 1d8 damage? So he does more than the short bow, that's for sure. But as a wizard, you really don't want to be relying on dexterity, and that's why Ray of Frost is only a cantrip. It's really quite a weak spell. The more powerful spells, you're not going to have to make a check. They're going to make a save, and that's where you really start to understand what's cool about wizards. But for now, it's a 2. Oh, rolls a 2. Didn't need to roll that. He doesn't do the damage. He fails. So right away, if you're talking like combat capability, I'm already like Stills is the shit. What's going on in the... Holy shit, it seems like this game is just all about chance. It's all depending on the dice roll. It's like slot machines, except the machines are more exciting because you can win money. Well, in a way, Fat Adam, that is true. You basically come to the gaming table to play with the dice and let the dice help tell the story. Now, to say this is a game of chance, though, is highly inaccurate. The way that the statistics and the target numbers and ability numbers work, there is an ever-ascending chance of success. And actually, the player's ability to use the story and the game mechanics to create more likely success is the essence of D&D. So you bring up a great point, which is just, isn't this just random? Let's skip forward to Advantage. Advantage is a new invention in 5th edition, and it's the best rule in the game. And all it is make the same check you just made, but with 2 dice, 2 d20s, and take the best one. So when I'm rolling just 1 d20, granted, I am playing a weighted luck game. It isn't just a pure, like, get a 3, and I see if I can roll a 3. It's not that dumb. It's far more interesting than that, because challenge ratings are always changing. Some are easy, some are hard for you, some are easy for others, and you work together as a team. Now, when you're using Advantage, because I say, I call upon the gods of old, and I run over, I jump up on the stairs, I twist around, and he's down beneath me, and I give him the shiv into the neck. The DM says, damn, that's a nice maneuver. You have advantage on this. I roll the same roll, but I take the best dice. In this case, a 17, which is definitely a hit on this goblin. And once again, do my short sword damage. Oh, no, wait, we said long sword for him, didn't we? This is a 1d8. Bang, do 5 more damage. So on both of his attacks, Stills dispatched the goblin by doing 5 damage. So Stills is good in melee when he doesn't get hit, and good at range when he fires his bow. So you get pretty interested in what Stills can do. So it is not just a chance game, Fat Adam. It is an ever-evolving game of understanding the story and how it creates different levels of challenge. The slot machine, every roll you make is equally difficult. Unless there's some cool new slot machines I don't know about. But there is not a sense of being wary of the difficult and bold with the easy, which is the essence of Dungeons & Dragons. Braces. Shit. Braces. Moorns, Lisa needs you're tearing me apart. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Yeah, Thunder Fist. Amen, brother. Okay, so it's getting crazy in there. The people are typing. When you add an extra dice, it's like Texas Hold'em. Yes, exactly, dude. That's exactly it. Yeah, it's a way of weighting the number. So if you imagine a slot machine where occasionally you could pull on 2 arms at the same time and take the better pull for the same penny, that would be the effect. Now that's just one mechanic. Imagine if this was a difficult room. We've been playing against a 12 room. So we could quite easily be playing against a 17 room, which is more like what my high-level players in my PvE group on Friday nights, they're into 17 rooms. So just to walk up slippery stairs or just to avoid putting their hand on spikes, they have to beat 17s. None of these characters could beat 17s except by just rolling natural 17s. These characters suck compared to my high-level characters. Conversely, we could have an easy room. We could have a 9 room. So people are trying to beat 9s. Beating a 9 would be like fighting out in the sunlight on grass. You know, the environmental conditions are in your favor. It's easy to see. There's good traction. You can see your opponent. It's easier to make maneuvers and do stuff. So you can see how it is not just a chance game. It's actually an interesting game of ascending and descending challenge. And it's only made interesting by a good dungeon master. The game itself provides you with little more than a skeleton. Whew. Okay, so we just got into some basic attacks, but we haven't done an attack for Scorn. Now, Scorn is a cleric. And I have to say, instead of attacking, he turns to Stills and heals him. So, just to be awesome. Now, how do I heal? Well, I look up cleric spells and I find the one I'm allowed to have and I write it down. And, oh, that's cool. I heal for 1d8 and Stills gets 6 hit points back. But man, if I'm playing Stills, right away I'm like, Damn, Scorn. Thanks, dude. I needed that heal, man. You're cool. And a relationship is formed. And that is more important than anything else. Now, okay, sure, we can have Scorn move in with a pike, and he attacks with his pike, which a pike is basically just a really big spear. He uses his strength bonus, which is +1. He's trying to hit the 12 to hit the goblins. Oh, he hits like hella. 1d10 for a pike, so he does a ton of damage. Rolls pretty crappy, though, and only does 2. He doesn't drop the goblin. So you can see, like, holy crap, man. Scorn is like my badass melee fighter, and he didn't kill the goblin. How come Stills did? Because he's a freaking rogue, you guys. Rogues always do great damage. But it wasn't because the game made it happen. It was complete luck. It just so happened that Stills rolled well there a couple of times and dropped the enemy. Scorn, really, frankly, could have done almost twice as much damage, but just because the way things played out, he didn't. And that is the freaking story. Scorn is self-disappointed. He flagellates himself. He flogs himself because he's disappointed in his performance. He's let his god down. And just in this little tiny opening encounter, we've gotten some reinforcement for their behaviors. Honestly, I think Alzheimer is becoming the least interesting character. Now, if I was a player, maybe I'd make him more interesting with his age and play it up. I might say, "You're no mage. You were one of the students in my course when I was just a boy. I remember you." And he tries to intimidate the red mage. So he rolls charisma bonus on top of this roll. That's a 13. The red mage tries to resist with the same bonus. Also gets a 13. It's a battle of wills. They go again. This time a 15 for Alzheimer and only a 9 for the red mage. The red mage acknowledges him. "I remember you, old man. You were a good teacher. I mean you no disrespect." Now you see the essence of the game and what making a character is all about. It's not about big, badass dice rolls. This is now the origin story. This is becoming the magic. Alzheimer is a kind of weak sauce so far. But because I played him as a character, I remember you from wizard school. That a good DM will let us roll on it. Now, if I had rolled a fail there, the red mage would say, "Psh, your petty tricks don't work on me. I know you weren't my teacher in mage school. You're just some old man who wants to survive this ordeal." That's how the game evolves. A lot of the details that make rolling a character difficult don't fucking matter. That's the stuff that matters. So what's going on in there? Do you think cult move? Yes. Wow. Okay. Well, I assume you guys are having a good time because there's more and more of you showing up. So thanks everybody for watching. It's great to have you. We're an hour. Well, holy shit! We're an hour and a half in. I'll take a moment to be excited because tonight we're partying like it's 1901. We've got 1901 subscribers on the channel, so we are just like, we're that close. We're a mammoth whisker away from 2K subscribers in only 6 months of existence. It's really exciting. Thanks everybody for showing up, sharing the channel with your friends. Hell yeah, surviving the lag, and we are rolling some freaking characters. Okay. Whew, well, now what? The red mage realizes there's more to this fight than just hurling goblins. I'm going to have to bring out the big guns. Helm, step forward. Which of these fools would you like to behead? Helm, being weak-minded and weak-bodied, he can't resist the will of the red mage. I don't want to choose, but you must. Bring in a classic DM trick here. Let the dice make a choice that you don't want to. So let's say that you are about to deal a ton of damage, and you've got 3 possible targets in front of you as a dungeon master. You don't want to be a troll and pick the guy you like the least. Let the dice do the work. That way, the players feel like it's cosmic justice. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how we choose character or targets around here. 5, 6. It's Scorn. Now remember, this is a group. This is a team. You want Scorn to get hit. He's the guy with all the hit points. So Helm walks over. lifts his battle axe. I'm sorry. Attacks. So he has no modifier on his roll, and Scorn has an armor class of 16. Helm has to roll a 16 or better natural on this dice to hit him. Rolls an 11. Clang! Right on Scorn's incredible armor. Now, little side note that's pretty cool. That attack would have hit both Mortimer and Stills. But since Scorn is so heavily armored, he just takes it and resists the damage. Helm steps back and is quite impressed. Choose again, the Red Mage says. Again, 6. I can't stop looking at his scarred face. It makes me sick. Ah! Remember, he has to roll a 16 or better natural to hit him. He rolls a 15. Normally, a 15 is an awesome roll, but because the relationship here, no attack bonus and heavy armor, he can't get through. Most impressive, Cleric. Choose again, Helm. No, oh shit, again I rolled a 6. The Cosmos wants this to happen. Helm walks over, rolls another attack roll. Another 15. He misses by 1 again. Scorn steps forward. You can't defeat me. You give me no choice but to kill you. Cha! He goes in with the pike. Scorn is +3 on the roll, which is his strength bonus, and he's proficient with this weapon. Remember, proficiency is an extra 2 on top. So he's +3, and Helm only has an armor class of 13. So he needs a 10 or better. He misses. So these two are just locked in mortal combat, but not doing any damage. Finally, Stills says, "Nobody treats my friends like that." Whoosh, plugs an arrow into Helm. So he is trying to hit a 12 with +2. Needs a 10 or better. He rolls a 10, he hits. And he does 4 damage. So somebody finally spills Helm's blood. Now Helm has 10 hit points, so he's almost to half. Listen to the book on tape. It's fun. I want to be a dark gilf mage. Can I be a dark elf mage? No one can be a dark elf anything. No questions, rogue shit. Oh my god. Well, we have the potty mouth chat channel finally going. I guess that's sort of an accomplishment for a YouTube channel. Fantastic. Carry on. Continue to drink and have fun. I'm going to keep rolling these guys. All right, great. So what do we just see? Whoa. Well, combat is unpredictable. That's for sure. Alzheimer doesn't want to engage in this behavior. He steps forth. Stop this madness! Send him back before Stills is forced to kill him! Once again, we have a charisma battle. So, charisma +1 for Alzheimer. Oh, rolls a 1. The red mage can roll anything and succeed, yeah. Fool, he will attack you. See, that didn't need to happen. But it did, because Alzheimer had to step forward and be like that. So Helm attacks. He's got no bonus, and we've got an AC of 9, so he's rolling a 9 or better natural. Oh, he totally makes that. And then he's got the battle axe, 1d8. Does 6 damage. Mortimer has 6 hit points. He drops him. Bastard! Stills says, fires. Stills hits. Man, Stills just never misses. Stills hits for 3 more damage, putting Helm at 7. Helm only has 3 more hit points. Scorn joins the fight. Who knocks an old man down with a battle axe, you dick? And he attacks him. Scorn has got 3 on the roll to hit a 12, so 9 or better. Cattywampus. Hits with a 16 with the pike. Remember, the pike is the brutal weapon. Does 5 damage. Helm drops and begins to bleed out. Wow, that got intense. So before they worry about Helm, Scorn turns to Alzheimer and stabilizes his wounds. Now, there's some fun mechanics going on with being dropped involving death saves and all that stuff, but we're not here to do all that stuff. We're not here to do combat design and battle mastery and gameplay. We're rolling characters, remember? So eventually they help Helm up. Helm kind of swoons over here next to this stone and wonders what his meaning in life is. The characters step forward. Now this is a good time to take a breather. For one thing, I'm tired. That is a lot of work to not only figure out who are your guys, but like what does it feel like? Who are they going to become? Really, it's kind of cool because the way it's played out, Alzheimer is the leader. He's the one making charisma checks against the Red Mage. Now, technically, Stills is much more capable of doing that exact same task, statistically. But he's a goblin rogue. He's not the type to stand forward and say noble things. And now I think you're actually at a place where you have a truly interesting choice as a character creator. I could be Scorn, who is the high damage absorption tank melee juggernaut. And eventually he's going to have cleric spells too, which we all know involve healing and stuff. This guy's just going to be freaking brutal. But his personality's a little flat. He's kind of a high and mighty, righteous kind of jerk. But he means well. I mean, he did save the old man. Then meanwhile you have Stills, who is definitely effective, has ranged capabilities. And honestly, will probably wind up being a totally awesome rogue. I mean, over time, I really need to get his dexterity working, because he's going to need to sneak. And, you know, as you saw in the beginning of the battle, when he's zeroed by an attacker, he doesn't do that well. He doesn't have a lot of hit points. And then we've got Alzheimer, who honestly is really intriguing. Terrible statistics, old as shit, and yet has this tone that's really fun in an encounter, which is just like, I was 50 when you were born, and now you're going to throw us in the dungeon? I don't think so, little man. Now, the power level of the Red Mage versus Alzheimer is irrelevant, because the story is the most important component. It's what drives what's happening. And this is why I think it's the most important to get into this stuff when you're rolling. Not just sitting there making the character according to the math and wondering what playing is like someday. No, the playing is the character. So, hey, whoa, we're up to 28 people. That's awesome. The party is on. We've even got, there's beer icons. That's cool. You created a tutorial level for your D&D characters. Yes, I did. As you guys know, I really believe that the play is what makes the characters, not looking at the books and sitting around. It is playing. And playing is the right word. You're not here to make sure you do it right. Let's imagine a world where you just used all the wrong numbers to do all this stuff. You still sat down and had an awesome time playing D&D and playing this cool scenario out. I mean, I can tell you what I want to do at this point. I'm going to kill the freaking Red Mage. I want to watch him bleed out. So that's what I'm going to freaking do. Now, if the numbers are correct and if they're by the book, who gives a damn? We've only looked at 2 pages in the entire book so far. And we're going to keep it that way. You are awesome. Fuck yeah, dude. Alzheimer should be casually racist against other races, but in a charming like you're gonna. No thanks, Vlogmoo. We actually had a character one time experiment with some racialism, and it was horrible. I've got another video coming out next week called The Ontology of D&D, but one of the topics is like the novelty of hateful or bigoted or asshole characters was really at a crescendo during 4th edition, and I think it's because 4th edition was a bored, tired system, and nobody really wanted to play D&D. They all just wanted to make gimmick characters, and it sucked. So you'd have evil and good characters in the same party, and it was dumb. Let me tell you, you want to play cool D&D? Everybody's a good guy, and they like each other. If they're family, they're brothers, they're friends, and it's fun. It's cool. Making good moral choices is fun and cool. Being evil and sadistic and racist is not fun, and it's sure as hell not cool. All right. I either want to be a dark elf like Drizzt or an Ent. Okay, well then Drizzt. But remember, Drizzt is a highly exceptional individual. The Drow generally are a spiteful, emo, annoying race. Cultmoo, I remember when goblins used to drink out of their own fountains. I don't even know what that means. HP, he just repels mind spells. He refuses me to think anyone else wants him to think. Right. Just magic resistance up the wazoo, right? Okay. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. It's really great to have you. Might keep on drinking. Nice. Okay, now I definitely don't have everything that I would need to call my characters complete. We do need to get into some more details about their equipment. We need to get into some details about their skills. A lot of people are all about skills like stealth, stuff like that. So just real quick, what would a stealth check be like? Well, Stills tries to sneak behind Helm as the red mage prepares another spell, and he wants to check and see if he could disappear. He has no bonus on Dex, but he is proficient in stealth, so he gets +2. He's trying to beat a 12, needs a 10 or better. Bang, he rolls in 6. Everybody sees him go and hide. It doesn't work. Another great one is perception. Now you're rolling up a character and you're looking, what am I going to be doing a lot? Well, hey, welcome to D&D where you roll perception a lot. Perception is just what's going on in the room. Can I get any more details? If you guys can see in the video, this camera isn't the greatest, but there are these little tile indicators. They kind of just look like extra cobblestones. But I generally use them to mark areas of investigation. So I can have Scorn walk over and he says, I roll perception on this thing. It's wisdom-based, so he gets 2. He has no bonus on his wisdom rolls. So he just has a 10 wisdom, if you remember from the very beginning. So he has to beat a 12 with no bonus. So roll a 12 or better, he fails. So he looks at the tile on the ground, he's just like, I can't figure this thing out. Hey, Alzheimer, you want to help me take a look at this thing? Alzheimer looks, and since his friend is already inspecting this suspicious plate on the floor, Alzheimer gets advantage. Alzheimer also has a +1 on his perception. So he beats a 13 with advantage. He says, oh yes, I've seen these before. This is a secret plate which kills a goblin when it's depressed. Etc. Still says, oh, well, there's one of those over here too, and he presses it. No! The red mage says, well, it was stupid of me to put those in the tutorial area. So, again, you can see how Alzheimer once again came through as the useful character. When we're rolling this guy up, we're like, oh my god, no, he's going to be in the hospital the whole time. He's kind of proven to be one of the coolest characters. I think right now, if I was going to be a character, choose one to take into the campaign, it would definitely either be Stills or Alzheimer. Whereas Scorn is just like a juggernaut. Now that was a little bit how I've played him, and it became him. But honestly, this is kind of my point that I keep hitting it over and over, is that when you have a character that's like that, oh, beefcake, hard to hurt, keeps killing everything, his personality becomes that way. And, you know, this is why the old saying, you know, like early bloomers die hard and stuff like that, is that, you know, if you're overly endowed by nature, it can make you a jerk. And if you're challenged in life and you have to rise above it and find creative ways to do things, you wind up being a richer person, and the same is true in D&D. It's one of the things that makes the game sublime. Makes it a little more fun than playing checkers, although not much. Checkers is totally awesome. So, how's everybody doing on there? Exactly, HP just repels minds. Oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. Even though you're deciding what character to make for yourself, I feel like this is a great way to decide characters for a party. It seems super fun. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. This is the way to do stuff. This is the first night of gameplay with your group. Is take your time. You don't need to move through a bunch of story. You don't even really know where this is, to be honest. This is in some meta world. But it gives you a sense of what the fuck you're going to be doing. This is the thing that the books just never give you, is a feeling of moving on the grids, you know, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why did I just move 5 clicks? Well, in my head, I know that's like a 5-square move is his move. You know, he's gonna have bonuses and stuff like that. There's a place you can look it up in the book. But you, as a user, with just looking at the book, you're like, okay, well, let me write down my move score, and it's going to be 6. You have no reference for what it means. So just sitting down and daring the unknown with a good DM, you're going to be like, well, I want to move. How far can I move? He'll be like 6. Because he'll just know off the top of his head. After you play for a couple hours, you just know that I generally move 6. You didn't need to look it up. Just play into it and get the feel for it. So how are we doing that? Touching Zlofi's butt. Oh my God! If only all of us could. Maybe that's how he got the second name, Molasses. You know, you can only eat so much of that weird stuff before molasses comes out. All right. Finally, the heroes gather in front of the red mage. You tyrant. We'll destroy you. We'll combine our powers. Attack! So, same rolls we've been doing the whole time, guys. We're just going to make it boring. And Stills, because he builds, because he's inspired by Alzheimer's leadership, he gets 2 attacks. Now, this will never happen in the game. 2 attacks is a very high-level ability. Really changes the game. It's like basically doubling your character. But for the sake of this little activity, I want everybody to have a prize for us to feel it out. So he fires his bow, and this guy's wearing cloth, so he's going to hit on that one. Does 6 damage to the red mage. Does maximum damage, actually. Boosh! Next up, we have his sword attack. So Stills jumps up, stabs him, and hits again for 4 more damage. So right off the bat, the red mage takes 10 damage. How many hit points does the red mage have, you ask? I don't frickin' know. Let's say he has 24. And now you get to another one of the Drunkens and Dragons mechanics that works so well, which is that don't give bad guys odd numbers of hit points. Give them numbers of hit points that correspond to D6s, so 18, 24, 30, etc. That way it's really easy to remember and mark and know when he's dead. You don't have to write a bunch of crap down. Okay, Stills did his part. Next up, Scorn. But Stills is in the way, so he comes around. He's attacking through the banister of the stairs, if you take a closer look. So he's got his pike. He's trying to jam it through there. For the righteous, I will crush you. Cha! But it's very difficult to get a pike through that space, so he's rolling at disadvantage. That means I'm going to roll 2d20, and I'm going to take the low one. How are we looking here? I've got +3 on the rolls, and I'm hitting a 12. Oh, my worst dice is a 1. I totally would have made it if it weren't for disadvantage. So he hits the banister with his pike and gets stuck in there. No, no! So now he goes for it again. I will overcome the stairway. Nope, his low dice is 7. So Scorn, the mighty melee fighter, is blunted. Alzheimer steps forward. Instead of casting a spell, though, just some boring ray of frost. 2, 3, 4, 5. He moves over to the torch in the corner here, which I hope you guys can see on the shot. Oh yeah, you can see it. It's right there in the corner. So there, Alzheimer moves over to the torch. He lifts it in his hands, holds the torch high. He says, "If need be, I'll burn you to ashes, red mage." That's the end of his turn. So next turn, he's going to be able to step forward with the torch. The red mage takes his turn. For the sake of simplicity, he's doing magic finger of damage. It is a spell that must be saved against. So, if you make the save, which means dodging it, you'll take only half the damage. But if you miss the save, you take it full on in the chest. So first, Stills goes for a dex save against a 12. So he is proficient in dex saves. So he's +2 on this roll. 14, he makes it, he dodges it. And it's a tough one. It's a big spell. It's a 1d8. But he dodged, so he only takes half of this. 5, we're going to round down for the benefit of the doubt. So he takes 2. Ah! Stop harming my friends! The red mage turns to Scorn and casts the same spell. Scorn makes his dex check. He is at a +1 on this, trying to beat a 12. That is a nat 20. That was a little bit leaning on the d8 there, but that is a nat 20 dex check. So in making a nat 20, he actually flips over the stairway, landing on the far side. An incredible move for someone wearing plate mail. Uses his pike like a pole vault, lands in perfect position to strike. And now we come back to the beginning of the play order, which was Stills. He does his 1 attack. So he is going to stab with a sword. 10 or better to hit. Does it. Again rolls maximum damage. Shit. Stills is a damage machine. So now 16 total damage against the red mage. And Scorn is up. Scorn goes for the stab. He's got the huge pike. No longer at disadvantage. And he is at +3 to hit. Definitely hits, hitting a modified 15. Oh boy, here comes the big damage, and he rolls minimum. He does 1 damage. All right, 17. Scorn, you are terrible at your job. Alzheimer lunges forward with the torch and pushes it into the wooden stairs. I'm just going to give, this is a classic DM thing, I'm just going to give Alzheimer a 50-50 chance of lighting the stairs on fire. So if he gets an 11 or better, he lights the stairs on fire. 7. So the torch doesn't quite take. Oh, perhaps not my wisest of tactics. Yeah, this is what playing with yourself looks like. This is exactly it. This is what's so weird about YouTube. But hey, I'm trying to show you guys how using simpler sense for numbers actually gets you into the game quicker. And it's a little bit of like how I DM with my group. Red Mage. He sees that Alzheimer's trying to light him on fire. Gives him the magical finger of pain. And this is Alzheimer's dex save, which he makes. So he takes half damage, takes 1 damage. Give him his red damage dice. And so on. Now, I think I'm going to keep going because I got to see what's going to happen. What does this mean? When you weren't as badass, did you keep a separate log or did you use your main book to keep records? Crash Factory. Did you keep a separate log or did you... if I understand your question correctly, Crash Factory, I use 1 book for every freaking thing I do. So that is everything from map designs to characters to story notes to scratch pads for hit points to poetry, name ideas, drawings. I just do everything in 1 book. That way, I just have 1 book. And I just work my way through the books. So this one's almost done, and when that one's done, I'll move on to my Stormwind book. It just keeps it simple. Also, this is a good-sized book. You can throw it in your saddlebag on your motorcycle and cruise to the bar and sit and work on D&D, and you don't have to have a bunch of hooey going on. That doesn't sound like a very good attack. Would you rather DM or be a player? Definitely DM. Malante. I've put so much into DMing, it really has become my focus entirely. As a player, I have a lot of fun, but that's a tough question. Being a player is really fun because the revelations are so fun, the discoveries. I love being a player too, and like trying to have a bakery, or forming a love bond with another character, or doing cheesy stuff like that, or just like loving dwarves or loving drinking, or something like that. But really, just for sheer satisfaction when D&D night comes, I can't beat being a DM. I love to reveal story to my players. I love to kind of blow their minds and take them places they never knew. I like the crafting element too. And don't get me wrong, crafting is not DMing. It is totally a side shoot of DMing, but damn does it help. It makes everything so tangible. We have a rule which, like, all our boards are literal, so anything you see is literally the exact layout of the land. So I hide clues in my boards and all that kind of stuff. It's really fun. How did your players respond to the DCC spell system? Well, at first it was totally terrifying, and it seemed like I basically had stripped them of all power. And then after a couple more successful rolls and learning about spell burn, my wizard, I don't think, could be happier. He is really got a sense for this infinite power that's very dangerous, which is exactly what you want your wizard to be. Also, on a crazy lucky loot roll, he got the Staff of Power, which has a lot of built-in lower-level spells. So he's got that kind of fix for lots of spells to choose from, but for the big, crazy, gnarly stuff, the DCC spells are always the most fun. Being a player is cool when you have an awesome DM. Amen, brother. I hope that's true. This is the first live chat room I've been in since like 2002. Well, good to have you, dude. It's fucking awesome. Legal reasons. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Oh, because of the chat room. Yeah, cute. These are so weird now. It's like retro MySpace. Oh, yeah, this is a lot like MySpace. As a DM, you have to stick to a set of traps and monsters or you can make shit up. If you make shit up, and your players are, tangibly aware of it, it will totally undermine the relationship between the DM and the players. And if that happens, they will begin to fudge things and see the game as just a big fuck around. And often, once that relationship is compromised, you'll notice that your players will begin talking about other things and just kind of mentally wandering off, and the game gets pretty damn shitty. Unfortunately, this is what most D&D is like. This is why I say never use a Dungeon Master screen. It's where I do this, and I tell you, I rolled a 12. I didn't roll a 12. I rolled a fucking 7. But a lot of times, a Dungeon Master will want you to see his content or experience his story so much he will actually fudge his way into it, or he will fudge his way out of your failures. And it really compromises the relationship between the players and the DM who are telling a story together and playing together. So it's fun to see the DM succeed and fail. And so as far as preparation, I don't think you should make anything up. I really don't. And that's why we simplify the game so much. We crush it way down to its simplest numbers so that I don't have to go, oh, what's the challenge on the guy? What's the thing? No, we'll play against a number for an hour, like 12. We'll play against the number 12 for quite a while. Now, there's some subtleties about abilities and how the characters are using, you know. But then we'll move to the next room, and that room will be a 14. And we will play against 14. And it keeps the focus on the storytelling and the clever use of characters rather than, like, trying to get the readout on the thing of the thing. So don't make shit up. You'll be a bad DM. Now, you need to improvise in the moment to do good role-playing. But don't invent what spells guys have. Don't invent what hit points they have on the spot, or your players will just be like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, the players are smart. I got to meet someone for lunch. Okay. Yeah, see you later, Critical Hit. Have a good lunch, man. Get that semi. I'm really loving your help and feedback. It's not too often you can pick the mind of an old-school DM. Well, hell yeah, Crash Factory. That's me, man. I'm as old school as it gets. Well, that's not entirely true. But I'm pretty old school. I guess my introduction to the game was 85. So I wasn't quite there at the beginning, but you know, about 7, 9, 8 years after the beginning. So quite a while. Been doing it for a while. But it's not how long you do a thing, it's how hard you try. DMing is definitely harder. It's creating a channel in which the story can flow, and it takes a talented person. Cheers to you, Hankerin. Hey, thanks, Ramers. Here's to you, man. Let's have a guzzle together. But I got to disagree with you on one point. It's not about talent. It's just about practice. And it's about simplicity. Get the game down to where it's simple and it's a more fun game. Now, as you get more skilled, add parts and pieces. But don't just try to play it out of the box. It's made for people who've been playing it for years, and it's overdone, and the books are terribly written in the wrong order. My YouTube is all guns and food. I'm on the gun chats and Second Amendment chats. Okay, well, that's cool. Rock on, man. That's your right. Looking forward to when we play. Cult Moo says, hey, that would be cool, guys. I need to make the bandwidth so we can start another group because, spoiler alert, I want to do a multi-group crossover story. So it'd be really cool to start building an alternate group, and eventually your story dives into the story of the group that's already been playing for 6 months. It would be totally awesome. We wouldn't want to play with a group that large on the regular, but like once or twice it'd be really funny to have a large group like that. Anyway, hey, I'm done. I'm coming in at 10 o'clock. I'm just going to hang around for another hour. But to me, that was rolling the characters. That was it. Now there's a lot more details to work out, but we just did it. We just had an awesome 2-hour play session where we rolled up characters. I think right now I'm definitely not going to be Scorn, and I'm not going to be Helm. So really the choice is between Stills and Alzheimer. Yeah, Stills is pretty cool, but Alzheimer's got a lot of character, and like now you're talking interesting choice here. Just staring at the book and reading about what a barbarian is, or staring at the warlock entry and thinking like, oh yeah, this sounds powerful. That's not a real choice. But now, after playing through this a little bit, let's assume that after a few more attacks, the red mage got iced and the stairs caught on fire and the whole place went up in flames. And Stills and Alzheimer are running out. But a huge timber collapses, and the only way they can go is Scorn self-sacrifices, and he's crushed under the flaming wood, killed as Alzheimer and Stills escape. The ordeal of the Red Wizard burns to the ground. So only these two survive, and now I need to choose between them. What do you think of other games that tried to use the D&D format, such as Warhammer Quest? Warhammer Quest is awesome. Really cool game. Cool art, cool tone, really fun little mini dungeons. It's really good stuff. I loved it. Hell yeah, I would love to see something like that play out. Oh, with Lofi, Wero, and Pink as my group? Yeah. That would be really dope. And then that group eventually would cross over into Twigs' group with Florian and Boot. I'm your #1 fan. I'll see you next snowstorm. Okay, Joshua Jones, what's up, man? Keep on packing that heat. And live well, my friend. Strength, honor, and beer, all right? How many players can you support in a game, asks Maliante. Well, Maliante, I think anything beyond 5 is impossible to give the amount of tension that each character needs. Developing 5 sort of subplots within your story is extremely challenging, and more than 5 I think would be near impossible. Also, just the logistics of how many people can fit at a table comfortably, how many can have snacks and beer, and take turns in an expeditious manner. I think 5 is the limit. Just stopped and wanted to say, hail and well met. Oh, just stopped in. Hey, look, it's Jason. What's up, Jason Raper? How you doing, dude? Your name is creepy, but maybe that's just your last name. I actually work with a guy whose last name is Rapier, and he gets enough shit about that, so good luck with that. Too much cognitive dissonance. I don't even know what that means. It's weird. Is that like a Fear and Loathing thing? Worlds colliding. Yeah, hell yeah. So I think I'm good on my character rolling. I think I got it done. I can walk away. And now I just need to choose between Alzheimer and Stills. And Stills is, in a way, is a viewer-created character, which makes him, honestly, a little bit cooler than Alzheimer. Man, Alzheimer is neat. I don't think I can make one of these guys without the other, so I'm either going to have to make Alzheimer Stills' retainer or vice versa. I think that they are a character. They go together. So what I would do is I would negotiate with my DM to let this happen. So probably what I would do is I would not give Alzheimer any spells or attack abilities. He's just a presence. And him and Stills are inseparable. And probably what's going to happen is Alzheimer is going to get killed in a battle, and it's going to be a big part of Stills' character story. And that's another thing that I would recommend to you guys when you're looking at rolling characters. There's no rule that says I can do that. There's not even a suggestion. But that's the way that stuff gets started. That's the way stuff gets cool. And that day that comes where Alzheimer is killed in battle, and how does Stills respond, and what does he do about it, that becomes his backstory, rather than me making some stuff up and trying to, you know, my village was killed by orcs and burned to the ground, and I was the only survivor. Yeah, so was everybody else in D&D. Good job. I think I'll pass. Right now I'm trying to get better so I can play easier video games. Whatever. You wear Mjolnir for religious reasons or simply a fan of the culture, asks Jackson. Hey, Jackson, if you notice, too, I'm also wearing Aegis Armor, the Viking Amulet of Invincibility. Religious reasons. I suppose you could describe me as a pagan in a lot of ways. I'm definitely a believer in multiple godlike entities. I also have Mjolnir tattooed on the back of my neck. But Mjolnir, to me, is not a religious symbol so much as a symbol of the link between the gods and mankind. It's the gift from the gods to man. It's the between place. It's the tool both for building and destroying. It's a lot. It symbolizes a lot. It symbolizes warrior culture. This one in particular I wear because Kinshela, one of my viewers made it for me and sent it to me, like hammered this thing out of raw metal. And that, to me, is actually what's powerful about it. Yeah, I haven't taken it off since he sent it to me. It's awesome. Just having one person make something for another for no damn reason other than just hidey-ho is freaking fantastic. That's what everything we do is about in life. So when that happened, I find it to be very innately powerful. So that's why I wear it. I think I'll pat. Wait, any advice for wanting to get rid of a couple of players out of your regular group, but they're your friends? Ooh, that's a tough one, Jason. I had the exact same situation, dude. So if you guys saw my video where I show my book, I kind of tell some of the backstory. We originally had a different group of, I think, 3-4 guys, and we kind of got together and came up with the idea of Drunkens and Dragons a little bit, which was basically just drinking D&D, drinking game. So you drank to recover hit points and all this other stuff. But as a regular game, I mean, it was super awesome, by the way. It's a crazy amount of fun. But I think there's a video where I say, like, if we do this every month, we're going to die. Because we got together and we just got so hammered. Like, people were disappearing and shit. So I decided it was eroding the game a little bit, and there was no way we'd actually get a cohesive campaign out of it. So what I did is I kind of let that group just dwindle, and I rebooted the group with one member of that group who carried over. Now, I wouldn't describe it as kicking players out. I didn't kick the other players out. I just saw that the future there wasn't really where I was wanting to take the game. So we still play. I mean, we played over at his house for his birthday in the basement. That was fun. It was like wacky, chaotic D&D, like a one-off. But it was fun. And I want to play D&D with those guys for the rest of forever. But for the kind of campaign I was wanting to do this time around, I needed a slightly different group. So I would never kick anyone out of a group. I don't think that's cool. But you can end one story and start a new story and get a new group of people together. I can tell you, man, just be upfront. Just tell people, hey, it wasn't the dynamic I was looking for. I'm just trying this with this other group now, but let's do a one-off sometime. Just don't beat around the bush. Just say it like it is, and it'll work out. If they're your friends, they're going to love you either way. How does one encourage players to play characters like Alzheimer, i.e. Ignatius asked, but that's a freaking great question. The first, if you're a DM, Ignatius, reward them when they have ideas. So if the guy says, I'm going to go tell him, like, hey, you were my student at wizard school, as the DM, don't say, actually, that's not true. No, go with it. Just go with it. That now becomes fact if he makes the charisma check. Again, if a character with poor stats tries to sort of do something that's creative but statistically impossible or something like that, don't kibosh them. Give them a way to do it. And this is where being a DM is very creatively challenging only because you want to stay inside the game. So you can't take the GIMP character and overly reward him in the story because he's gimped. The other players will feel robbed. You need to know the game well enough where you can improvise the mechanics that will enable the opportunity to try. You still want the guy with the bad stats to fail quite a bit, but you want him to be encouraged to try. Does that help? I hope that helps. But generally just say, like, hey, yo, player, man, first of all, roll with only 3d6 and just go with it. You know, like, don't let the bad stats slow you down. Everyone's going to have relatively low stats. And the magic items are going to be all the cooler when you find them. I mean, shit, you've only got an 8 Constitution, man. You're definitely going to want, you know, boots of Iron Gut. Who is Stills and who is Alzheimer? You're a little behind. Stills was my rogue and Alzheimer was our wizard. How does one encourage players? Okay, cool. What else we got here? Self-described heathen. I've been debating on asking you ever since I noticed your ink. I concur about Mjolnir. Oh, is heathen what I meant to say instead of pagan? I thought a heathen was like someone who sort of didn't believe in stuff. Was kind of a disbeliever. But yeah, my tattoos are the swords from John Howe's J.R. Tolkien art, and these are the name of the swords: Glamdring and Anduril in Cirth, which is the language of Moria, the dwarven language called Angrathos. Do you ever play other group-based tabletop games where there isn't a dungeon master? What's your favorites? And do you ever play D&D as a player? I do play D&D as a player with, what is his nickname? Oh, Bumbo the Cat. He is hosting a group. Sometimes all this stuff is about all I can muster, so I've missed that group for a few weeks now. But they're a really funny group. They're real wacky. They're playing through Fandelver with a lot of detail. But they're a really wacky group. They have like a really wacky rogue that just kind of makes everything wacky. So yeah, I do like to play as a player. I'm always a dwarf pretty much most of the time. I like the short races. Group-based tabletop games where there's not a DM. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of great ones. Geez, I really like Bang. I love Citadels. I don't know. There's so many. I love Dixit or Dizit. I love that game. I don't know. I like Small World. That was kind of cool. I wouldn't play it all the time, but it was fun. I love Betrayal. Was really cool. There's a million awesome games out there, especially if they're visually rich. I want in. It's a good time. You going to finish that beer before the stream ends? Well, geez, dude. Yeah, I'd say I'm gonna. Thanks for the advice. Kind of the road we're heading down. Okay, yeah, Jason. So trying to fix up your group. I can tell you, man, if it's feeling weird, you're doing this for fun, not as a job. So make it what you want it to be. A lot of Norse Germanic pagans prefer the term heathen, usually as a way of separating themselves from other groups like Celtic pagans. You'll also get Asatru from, Asatru is a really cool name. Celtic pagans. You know, honestly, I'm not educated enough about it to fully know the details. It's the symbols. You know, some of you guys have asked me questions that I wear a cross sometimes. It's like, well, how do you wear Mjolnir and wear a cross at the same time? Hey, man, it's a big world. There's a lot of awesome stuff, and being reminded of it is cool. So, not the terminology is important. Yeah, well, hey, it sure helps describe stuff. What's your favorite obstacle to come across in D&D? Monster or environmental? That's a cool question, Vlogmoo. Man, they go together. There's no good monster fight that doesn't include environmental dynamics. Now, going up against an environment without a monster can sometimes be a little bit interesting, but environments have a hard time with dynamism. Namely, they don't decide usually, and they aren't subject to emotion, fear, and other stuff. So environments can be unsatisfying in that way. Your best encounters are always a time-based or sort of imminent doom environment combined with unpredictable or ever increasing enemies. It's a classic formula. It works in video games. It works in tabletop games. It works in movies. It just really works a lot. So if you go watch some of the room design videos, you'll see like it's all about both. You got to use both. In this case, the torch and the wooden architecture are totally intentionally included. A lot of times, I don't know if I have one laying around, but I'll include a chain, and then you'll get these two pillars or something like them in the space which have little posts on them, and the chain just happens to fit right on these posts, and players can create really powerful environmental effects with a chain and an anchor. Like you can trip larger monsters, you can confine or restrain an enemy, you can light things on fire and all this kind of stuff. So I think a good DM always has these concepts for his room not only planned but memorized. And if you go check out room design, you'll see I'm all about simple rooms where you can memorize the room so you're not making stuff up. If your room can't fit in a little sequence of notes about this big, it's too complicated. Thoughts on the OSR scene? Oh, hell yeah, Jackson. OSR, for those of you watching that don't know, is the old school Renaissance. It refers to a movement in tabletop back to first edition D&D and games like it. I honestly think, Jackson, that all that term is a fancy way of saying 4th edition sucked, and a lot of people got entranced by it and sucked into it, and it sucks. There's a large movement there. Unfortunately, I need to include some of Pathfinder, depending on how you DM it, but it's too manga. The abilities are too crazy. There's psionics. The math gets blown out of proportion, and everything's too cool. Part of the old school Renaissance is going back to some of the simpler days where you find like a +1 longsword, and it's like mind blowing. That was really cool, and that element of the game can survive in 4th edition or whatever your favorite system is, but I think that's a lot what that term describes, and hell yeah, I'm into it. I mean, I come from the old school. This isn't a Renaissance for me. This is the same thing it's always been. I did not buy into the more fast-moving editions of the game because they were already fast-moving, because you're DMing it well. The games never got clunky if you were playing them well. So... yeah, old school Renaissance, fuck yeah, rock on. Don't go to THAC0, though, because THAC0 is insane. Negative armor classes are just plain weird. I do think that modern game design has insights that we didn't have in the old school days, and they're useful, and they shouldn't be thrown away. And I think DCC and other games reflect that. Dungeon World definitely reflects that, even though it's a simpler game. It's a more innovative game. And to me, that's the OSR. So fuck yeah, OSR, man. Really, OSR would make a sick t-shirt. I took your advice from the last stream about my wizard in the group and wanted to use great swords and sent him a 4-day quest. Oh shit, so you've got a wizard who wants to use a great sword. Okay, classic. 4-day quest for a magic greatsword, but he refused help from the group. Okay, well, you're playing as a group, and he refuses to play with them. He ended up getting killed and rolling a fighter orc. Interesting. Well, I'm not sure what to tell you there, Thunderfist. Now, if that was fun for everybody, for him to do that, then great job. If the highest level motivation that your character has is to go get a greatsword, you might be wanting to deliver a little more story imperative to them. Give them some more choices that take great dire precedence over personal gain-seeking items. I'm all for a sandbox world, but not to the extent where a character is just breaking group dynamics so he can go get a frickin' sword or use a sword that's outside his proficiency space. Like, that's either a player who is very subversive to the group, or you might not be offering them enough stuff to do to where they think it's okay to use, like, a knight to go do that. That's a tough situation, though, man. But if it was fun and it was funny and his new character is awesome, it was totally worth it. Do you prefer narrative gameplay or mechanical gameplay, says Maliante. Whoa. Man, I need to think about that for a second. Man, the bottom of this mug gets so wide. Narrative versus mechanical. Well, I guess what you mean to say is that narrative is a much more free-form, theater of the mind type gameplay, whereas mechanical is a little more using movement squares, timing devices, tripwires, and monsters with pre-scheduled behaviors and stuff like that. Man, I can't make that choice, dude. It's just like asking monster or environment. They go hand in hand. You can't have good mechanical gameplay without really compelling narrative. Fighting an Umber Hulk, who is actually your brother transformed into an Umber Hulk, is 10 times more fascinating than just fighting an Umber Hulk who jumps out of a cave. And that, to me, is narrative and mechanical. So I can't make that choice. I gotta have both. You clearly put a lot of work into your rooms. How long does it take you to put one together, and how many of those do you do on a given night? Asks Jackson. Good question, man. Thanks. We do 3 nights, or we do 3 rooms in a night. So we'll usually do 1 really big, difficult one, and then 2 kind of cool down rooms. This is a super pro tip. The end of the night, you as the DM will be tired, and you cannot do mental warfare with 5 people when you're tired. So put your biggest, most complex, most ambitious room first, and then do 2 simple ones to cool the night off. So that's about what we do. As far as how long it takes me to build them, I plan them in groups of between 3 and 9. in the book. I just sketch them, kind of like this. Here's 5 room drawings. I don't know if you guys can see that. But I just draw a rectangle. It's a top view. Sometimes I'll design them from the side. And then just list out like 3 key things. You know, this monster, this environmental mechanic, and here's the story hook. When play night comes, I'll come in here and I'll set the rooms up so I can bring them out to the table. And that is a little more involved. That can take up to 30 minutes sometimes to set everything up just right. But it depends on the room. Some of the rooms are really complicated where there's working machinery and stuff and all the distances need to be right for the players to really believe it. And that can take a few days to set those up. Okay, where was I? There's a lot coming in, so I appreciate it, you guys. It's awesome. It's fun. What is the strangest weapon that's been used by a character that normally wouldn't be use that weapon? Oh, that's an easy one, Cult Moo. It is a log. It is the log. Twigs and who was it? It was Twigs and maybe Milo, our wizard. Shoved, actually the prop is still sitting here, shoved this giant log through this bush to attack one of the sword draggers, which is one of our giant dwarven enemies. Yeah, and it was totally awesome. The other is the dwarven battle cube, but that's just another story. If you feel like asking a crafting question, do you use the high-dollar paint or the Walmart acrylic? Definitely get the good stuff, dude. Get this stuff, Ceram Coat. The Walmart stuff or the low-grade stuff that comes in the bigger bottle is very shiny and it looks like crap. So don't do it. And the Ceramic Coat stuff is $2 a bottle, and the bottles last forever, so they're all good. He was the only character like that, and his new character is awesome. And he's finally focusing on the story like everyone else, says Thunderfist. Okay, so the guy who wanted to be a wizard, and then he's like, I hate wizards because they can't have swords. Great. Then I would consider that experience he went through to be part of the character creation process. Getting killed as a class you thought would be cool is a great way to create the right character for the player. So, cool story, man. That turned out great. What are your thoughts on zero-level D&D adventures? Have you ever run or played this type of adventure? Any suggestions how to do it well? Jason, that is what we just did, was a zero-level battle. Zero-level battles are like challenge level 10. All the saves are really easy. The spells and weapons have to do raw damage with very little modifiers, or everyone just dies instantly. In DCC, you use that death rate to choose survivor characters. Survivor characters become level 1 characters, blah, blah, blah. You guys all know about that. Generally, doing level 0 as a thing, I'm not really into it. I would consider that to be the character creation process. I just really believe in doing character creation not out of the book, and just focusing on your journal and learning about it over the course of maybe 4 nights of gameplay. But you know, rock on with the level 0 stuff, whatever. Give me a shout out, Bolus. Harvey Hayes. Oh shit. Harvey Hayes no face. So holler at you, Harvey Hayes. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching. Good to have you, man. I don't do shout outs really. That's like Cult Moo's thing. I'm just some guy. A shout-out is too cool for me. Unless Cult Moo is who you're wanting to get a shout-out from. Pretty awesome that you have all those room designs compiled. I want to see them come to life on the show, says Lofi. Yeah, man, there's only about 7 rooms that haven't been shown on room design. So remember, in 10 nights of gameplay, which is 20 weeks of gameplay, that's only about 30 rooms total. So, yeah, there aren't that many that I haven't done videos for, and honestly, the more that I'm getting into making rolling boxes like this, and then trying to make the extra sets to get the world to be deeper, I've fallen a little bit behind on room design, but a little bit behind on my standards, which I think actually I'm doing great. So, sometime when we get the Cult Moo group together, you guys can come over and you can kind of see a little more of how the whole crazy works. I mean, you've kind of seen it. Okay, Maliante, are you a dungeon master or a game master? Dude, I'm a dungeon master, man. Game master, has been used in a lot of places. I first heard the term game master playing GURPS back in the 80s. But even then, we said dungeon master. Saying game master was dumb because we were also watching the Avenger cartoon. So we're like, dungeon master, duh. Kitty needs to go get us some beer. I don't know what that means. That is some kind of weird like foreplay stuff going on there. I'll give you gas money. Oh, hey, yo, Cyrus Draken's in the place to be. What up, dude? So, Cyrus, what Super NES game are you playing tonight? Crash Factory, thanks for your love you do. Keep crafting videos. I look forward to the next live event. Crash Factory, thanks for coming. Yeah, the dwarven box was back here. There's a druid box and the rogue box is right over here, but those are not ready to reveal yet. There's going to be 9 total boxes as well as a Dungeon Master's super box, and we're going to get to all that all in good time. Kitty doesn't. I'm sorry, Vlogmoo, but Kitty already has gas. Yeah, dude, your standards are through the roof. It's bonkers. Kudos. Well, you know how it is. You get old and your hobbies get all important. Okay, man. This thing gets wide at the bottom. But our rogue last week brought all these frickin' pyramid beers. These things are terrible. How do you set up adventures? Woof. Do you just begin the session so you're outside the room? Or you let the RP back and forth and then bring the room when they get to that point? That's a good question, Jackson. I definitely don't let the RP go just like herp-a-derp, well, herp-a-derp, well, herp-a-derp. Let me show you a mechanic. I don't want to get up. That sounds terrible. Yeah, actually, it's worth it. Let me just, right over here. There's so many swords on the ground. I don't know how to. It's very hazardous. Okay. Now, I've got some different stuff coming out that's going to explain a lot more about how this can work. But as a player, I was always driven crazy by freeform role-playing, especially in town. So I never let my players do that stuff. So if we are in a decide on your strategy, or where will you travel, or what will you do next, behold the almighty hourglass. So I just got this cool little green hourglass at some random swag store. Like, I think it was like at Seafood City. So I broke it out of its plastic thing and I built a little stone kind of thing that matches our world. And if the players start saying, well, we could go to Tower Evermoon and we could grow a thing, or I don't know, we could find the nearest town so I can buy a bow. Well, I think we should go east. So when they start doing that, put the timer out. The timer represents the limits on the world. The enemy is drawing near. You have to buy food. You only have 1 night left in the inn that you've paid for. Rumors of your presence are spreading, etc., etc., etc. You don't have forever to sit around and play frickin' Stratego with each other. You remember when Conan got all the jewels and the gold? It was like the next frickin' day they showed up and busted his ass. So the same thing goes for the players. So I just pull this guy out, and when the timer runs out, they are done talking, and a decision has to be made. A lot of times we will be coming into a night already embroiled in something, and so we can jump right in. But your higher level question is the most interesting one, which is how do you make adventures? Adventures are a series of nights. And what I generally do is I'll try to come up with key story components. Key story components are kind of like they're turning people into Umber Hulks. Like, that's an awesome story hook. Or like, your dad's a vampire. You know, stuff like that. Like, just some kind of key thing where I can go like, whoa, that's cool. What does that mean? And then I'll start sussing out all the things it means to the players. So right now we're playing through the Umber Hulk curse. That's a big part of our game right now, which is like the bad guys are experimenting on people and creating like an Umber Hulk hybrid army. And it has lots of different parts and pieces. It's inspired by X-Files, by Lovecraft, by Conan sort of story structure, and just a lot of the story structures I've done over the years that have worked. So what you do is get that going. You notice some behaviors in the players, and when they're not really looking, you make a quick note. And then later, when you're doing a writing session, you expand upon that tremendously. Every once in a while, the player will just sort of say something off the cuff that they don't intend to be a big story seed, but if you're an attentive DM, you get that. You get a little note on there, and you can create a big story out of that, and it'll blow their mind. Shit, Twigs is up in the place. We got Milo in the place to be. It's great to have everybody, man. We're at 28. This is going to be a record pretty soon. Shout out for Seafood City. Word up. Man, those big old fish, and they just like throw it in a bag. You got to get that bag fish, yo. Now that is sick. Okay, Cult Moo says, I love you, Hankerin. Well, I don't know which Cult Moo that is. It's probably fucking Wero. It's just filled with so much goodness. I hope you know how to show your love. Oh my God. On your knees. Yeah. You're awesome, Maliante. Hey, man, it's you. I just peed for 3 minutes straight. I love when that happens. I love when that happens. It's like being a war horse at the end of the day in World War I. You just walk up and you're just like, what? Boom. There's like a hole digging in the ground and shit. You don't give a fuck. It's just like I just ran over like 20 crowds. Almost to the end. Good Lord. Erich is here. I don't see Erich. That's a crock of shit, Milo. I don't believe it. Where? I don't think there's any liquor in here. That's probably for the best, honestly. I was like, man, I could use a little something, if you know what I mean. But it's not in here. I hope the rolling experience worked out for everybody. It's a little weird not to have human interaction here with the process, but I'm sure we'll find in time if it all played out. Who's that? Oh shit, it's Onyx Zephyr. Hey dude, nice to have you in the room. Don't know how long you've been skulking. Good to see you. Yes, it is classy as fuck. I would agree. I'm just some dude in a room with a table and some junk on it. I've got fake bushes. This is a personal confession. My bushes are fake. Actually, they're not fake. They're what really could be fake in a world of extant objects. Now, that is a question for the ontology of D&D, which is a video coming out next week. I filmed it last night. It was a real hoot to film. I finally got to put this stupid philosophy degree to work. Damn, wizard spell of trickery failed. Yeah, Erich is here. You can't just say he's here and have us believe it. Where do you get your books that you keep track of your players? I love the leather covers. Oh, yeah, man. Here it is. This thing fell out of the canoe and still stayed in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, this cover is attached. I would love to be able to put it on another book, but I just got this at Borders and Noble. I can't remember. It's just that huge one. They have a ton of these things. But this one is the bomb. This is my Stormwind book, which is a dope Blizzard product. And this is going to be my next book, so as soon as I'm done with that one. But this also has a leather cover, but it comes with the old Samwise art, where he did the Griffin and the entrance to Stormwind. These are some of the earliest WoW pieces of art that were done. Samwise is just one of my favorite artists of all time. He's absolutely brilliant. So I'm excited to fill that one up next. But just look this shit up, man. There's tons of books like these, and it's really useful to always keep you focused with a durable book that you can keep with you a lot. Get a good pen that you really like. It matters, you know. You'll do better work if you like your materials. I just broke the whiskey. Oh God, I want whiskey. Where do you get your books? You keep track of I love leather covers. My parents' old group. My mother had a war horse. Werehorse, and it was a joke. It's demigod, but God, good Lord. Skulking. Only been here for you. Well, it's good to have you, Onyx. What's up? I'm not going to trim these bushes because they look really cool. I've got fake bushes. Quote of the night. Key on the face. I don't know what that means. I got fake bushes. That's going to be my response to anything I don't want to answer. Some people will be like, well, why didn't you pay your taxes this year? bitch. You got fake bushes. By the grey blade of Fenrir, by Lathander's brow, the old gods and the new, by the 9 hells, I finished my my beer. Ugh. Pyramid makes some bad beers, you guys. I mean, bad. They taste like factory beer. Okay, this is a beer review show now. Pyramid's beers blow. So beer drinkers out there, don't buy that shit because it's a factory anyway. They don't need your money. Go buy something good. Buy get a Top Cutter Field 41. Now that's a good freaking beer. That's a man's beer. That's a beast's beer. That's the kind of beer you're just like, damn, this isn't too strong, but it's not too weak. This beer's good. Yeah, exactly. Somebody's like, hey, man, why are you drinking that Top Cutter crap? Why don't you just have a Bud Light? And I'll be like, bitch, I got fake bushes. You think these bushes are real? Like I need real bushes in my life? I got moss glued to styrofoam, son. Wow, it's really, really Mensa up in here. I'll turn you into a fake bush. Got any good gaming stories? Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, Lofi, you're right. They're all good gaming stories. I mean, it's just made out of gaming stories. This shit is crazy. I think the one in recent times that is the absolute best, I have to get Erich Underbottom the credit. He did the hug roll. The hug roll is epic. There shouldn't be an RPG book written from 2015 forward that doesn't include hug mechanics. That's how epic that was. Yeah, fake bushes. Turd cutter. Kelmo, get the fuck out. I thought you said you loved me, jerk. We were drinking Curveball for a while. Ugh, God, friends don't let friends drink that crap. I just ran out of beer. Oh, God, no, that's 2 of us. Yeah, I love me some Top Cutter. Tell us about some character deaths. Well, I don't want to recount all the old school stories. I'll tell recent ones. The only recent catastrophic death that we have suffered was our goat. We had a dwarven goat named Rocket, and he was critted by a giant dwarven war golem made out of stone, and he was basically instantly liquefied. And he was the moral and spiritual center point of the group. It was a crushing blow, and now all of us constantly just yearn to have a goat in our group, so our poor druid has to turn into a goat all the time. This is D&D, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. You're smack in the middle of it. Between driving around on your Harley Davidson and riding the bus and drinking beer, swinging on ropes and climbing on rocks, hiking up mountains and drinking more beer and drinking more beer. Between all those things, you're playing D&D. You're right here. You're right in the thick of it. What I have freshly 12 Hankerin Ichiban. Oh man, that's pretty good beer, especially with sushi. I once fisted a Zorn into a makeshift shield. That was a good night. Very nice, dude. That sounds fucking dope. That's what I'm talking about. Pours one out for the goat. Amen, Ramers. Thank you, dude. How is the goat dwarven? Dude, Lofi, how new can you be? How is a goat dwarven? It's like asking, how is a rock awesome? The dwarves have their own goats, bitch. I got fake bushes up in this. Don't question. It happened right in front of me, and I was powerless to stop it, says Milo. Yeah, it was terrible. I think he got splashed with a little bit of goat liquid. A cursed duckbill that transforms anyone wearing it onto their face into a duck. I don't even know what that means because the sentence structure didn't give me a sense of what the subject matter is there. Holy shit, it's a beard. It's all in the beard. Funny you mention it. We had a total party kill recently where the only survivor was the goat who made a save versus a breath weapon. That's fucking sick. Jackson, all you're doing is making it worse. Now the goat value is going to go up, especially when where is that guy? When ye old gold dragon enters the campaign, which is probably sooner than my players would like. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to be doing some goat saves. Was it actually? Hey, by the way, Jackson, you're an asshole. It wasn't a total party kill. The goat survived. You fucked up. Was there a schism in the goat phylum in which certain goats delved deep into the earth and grew beards? Yes. Yes. No, all goats have beards. First of all, hello. But yes, and it's not called a schism. It's called natural differentiation or speciation. Her name was Patricia. That is a great name for a motorcycle. Sorry to show audacity to your magnificent fake bushes. I don't know if you are using audacity properly in that sentence. So I've got Stills and Alzheimer here, my two new characters, my level 1 rogue and my level 1 NPC. And the next campaign that I get into, those are my guys. Great. I finally caught up with the comments. Ooh, because, man, that font is small for a gentleman of my age and stature. I tell you what, guys, we're closing in on 11 o'clock, and I'm not gonna pull hair pink on this shit and let you watch me pass out. I'm gonna pass out in private. I'm gonna go under this table, and I'm gonna sleep in a bunch of styrofoam. That way, when I wake up, I'll just be like, styrofoam. I'm going to cut some styrene. I'm going to cut some foam. I'm going to make a castle. I'm making an eldritch home. Okay, I got to go. Vlog Moo, you're out. Peace, dude. Twigs, could you retrieve the whiskey bottle for me? I owe a whiskey shot to the 25 viewers that are hanging tough all the way to the end. Fair enough. The goat lives on. Hey, nice. The goat economy in our game was already screwed after our fighter decided rather than save up for a stronghold, he would purchase all the goats that he could find in a bid to gain a monopoly on the goat market. Oh my fucking god. So, okay, I don't even need any more details because your campaign is clearly totally brilliant and your players are geniuses. Well, hey, you guys wanted to drink whiskey. I just happen to have some right here. Oh, sure, look at that. It's a gyro-stabilized 5-liter bottle of whiskey. Let's have some. I'm going to cut some styrene. I'm going to cut some foam. Holy shit, you guys. This is going to be an epic show. I am about to finish the 5-liter bottle of Jameson. There's a little more in there, and I am going to get work done. Hey, Lofi, take it easy, brother. Hang in there, man. Live safe, live strong, be cool. Thanks for the great channel. Hey, Warbeer. God damn, that's a dope username. You're freaking awesome. Great show. Pink Burn. Makes how much for a rolling box? Onyx Zephyr. Great question, dude. I raised this whiskey glass. So, hey, all you guys out there drinking, if you still got something left, you don't have to have anything like this, but come on, have a shot with me. Let's do it, and let's do a little spoiler alert. Woo! God, that skull is deceptively huge. Behold, by the grey blade of Fenrir, the wolf of the north, the 5-liter Jameson bottle ends this night. Okay, Onyx, as to your question, really excited you're asking. We are going to be doing a Drunkens and Dragons Kickstarter campaign. We're going to be bringing the heat. So there is a lot more in this room than shows on the camera. And I can't promise dates, but the rolling boxes really broke the dam. I've got a lot of people asking how they can get one. So we're working on how we can get them built, how we can do a lot more than this. So there's a lot of stuff that we're trying to sort of keep secret until the time comes. But this is going to be awesome. We are going to extend what Drunkens and Dragons is. We're going to freaking keep on going. We never meant it to be anything big, but fuck, we're going for it. We're going to go for this and just go as far as we can. I thought maybe if I got 100 viewers on YouTube, it would be kind of cool. We're almost to 2,000 now. It hasn't even been a year. We're absolutely killing it, and our PvE group is having a blast. Like, it's a great year, man. 2015 is dope, and it's just because I've got awesome friends who always support me and who always show up, and without them, there would be none of this stuff. So I really owe it all to them, but I'm going to try to do it justice and come through and like make tabletop gaming cooler than what it usually is. That's the goal, and I want more people to have fun with it, and I want it to be sustainable. For it to be sustainable, we need to expand, and we need to be ambitious and fucking go for it. So, Onyx, thanks for the question, man. Hang tight. It's going to come your way. It's going to be dope. But holy shit, have we got stuff to figure out. Like, this stuff is not easy to make at this detail level and with this kind of craftsmanship and stuff. So we got some stuff to figure out. We're going to figure it out. Fuck it. If I can finish 5 liters of whiskey, I can do anything, right? Fake bushes and goat survivors. Yeah, this whole goat economy thing is just fascinating me. Jackson, man, we're drinking to tonight, dude. We're drinking to July 10th. This is a fellowship of 28 people who share a common vision of what matters in life. Kin, drink, imagination, not letting the old stories die, and making new stories. And also not being bound by the daily life. And enjoying the daily life, but not being bound by it. And also not giving a fuck what people think. When I was a kid and you were into D&D, you got beat up for it on the reg. Now, cool people are into it and stuff, and that's good. I'm glad that people don't have to pay quite as high a price to be into it, but it really still boils down to the same thing, man. You do this because this is what you want to do. You're interested in it. And you shouldn't question that instinct. Fucking go for it. Go all the way. Go as far as you can take it. And then if you get bored, go do something else with equal amount of fervor. There's your rant. Drunkens and Dragons Kickstarter. I'm on board. I don't give a fuck what it is. Right on, Jason. That's cool. I was just joking, but honest goodness, Drunkens and Dragons rolling box? Hell yes. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. July 10th, Dice and Goats. Now you're talking, Jackson. I still am just in utter awe that you guys had a goat economy. I mean, that's tabletop gaming. That is people together coming up with dumb, random things for no reason that become stories of legend. And that's fellowship. I mean, that's what they did in the old days. That's what we do now, and it's no different. Often, I think people make the mistake of thinking that the old days were better or more glamorous than the current day. But there is no difference. The only difference is our willingness to preserve what we see as honorable or beautiful about the old days. We can be that way now. We can be honorable now. We can stick to each other now. We can watch each other's backs now. We can have courage. We can have honor. We can be imaginative. And we can work hard. It's no different from the old days. And I'm sure in the old days they dreamt about the future. But this is it. It's not fantasy about a world we're not in. It's a thing we do in the actual world. I fucking hate you, kitty. This channel's contributed to my personal D&D rebirth. Tossing dice since 1980. Warbeard, damn, you must be old as dirt, dude. And it shows in your username because you're a big fat badass. So rock on, man. Actually, I got a drink. I got a drink to Warbeard, playing since 80. That is 35 years playing D&D. That's living. So Warbeard, hey, everybody who's drinking, get your glass up there. If I could see you, I would love to. But here's to finishing 5 liters of whiskey. The last shot is very dusty. Woo. Be strong, get stronger. Fuck yeah. Hello. Hi, Milo. They figured out that they cornered the market. They could drive up the price and turn a quicker profit becoming more. As it turns out, livestock is either man and peasant. Okay, Jackson, dude. I'm playing if you do the dragging down that. If your players are getting that deep into the goat economy, again, I'd have to recommend intervening with a world calamity that drives them to action. Players should never have an infinite amount of time to work a town. There's a great video coming out pretty soon, a couple weeks from now, called The Town Game. And we actually play a game when in town that controls how many stops you can make per time, and it's very tight. It's a lot like playing Game of Life. But I've found that if players are given an infinite run of a town with no imminent threat, they just can become way too wealthy and powerful. Another badass ginger here, brother. Well, okay. Is that me? Am I a ginger? I'm not redhead, you weirdo. But hell yeah. Braid your beard, dude. Is not drinking alcohol some sort of blasphemy around here? Oh, hell no, dude. Alcohol is just a thing. The channel is called Drunkens and Dragons because I like a lighthearted, fun approach to the game, not because you are required to show up and drink. Amen, Milo. Drink some Gatorade, man. You'll be a better gamer at the end of the night if you do. Hey, sweet. I'm caught up on the comments again. Okay, we only got 10 minutes left in the stream, you guys. And we got 29 people watching. That is a new record. Yes. And they're watching so attentively. I don't have metrics on that. But, man, it has been an epic night. Oh, man. I think my... Okay, I'm better now. Actually, now that I look at this freaking Stormwind book, I'm really excited to get into it. So I need to... looks like I have 25 pages to fill in on the old book here. But Stills and Alzheimer will be in the cosmos of our game now. So they have become lasting characters, and that will be awesome. We'll put this little spoiler alert away. And it's been great hanging out with you guys. I'm really glad you all showed up. He thinks he's caught up. We were playing the old school method. We were expected to take the money you earn and eventually build a keep. Oh, hell yeah, dude. You simply chose, yeah. Building a stronghold is a critical part of any long-lasting D&D campaign. It's critical to get the resources that you need to really step up, especially if you're fighting elder dragons and stuff. You have to have crafted things and stuff like that. I would just suggest be careful with how you let it play out. Don't let infinite amounts of time pass. They will become spoiled. I'm only half watching. Cultmoo, you are an asshole. Whoever you are. You username cloaked son of a bitch. I used to create a whole series of plot hooks about their progress and defending their herd. Okay, fine. You got it all under control. We're just getting to know each other, but fuck yeah. That is freaking fantastic. So you'd have like a werewolf that would come out of the woods, would be taking some of the goat herd, profits would go down, the stronghold would slow in its construction, and then they have to go hunt the werewolves. That's freaking awesome. I want to be a goblin with nightcrawler skills. Okay, congratulations. That's very nice to know. I want to be a construction worker, man. Maybe that. This is cool. It's weird. It's just like this camera just sits here, and it films me, and I'm sitting here. We really need to get the multiple cameras. Oh, hey, by the way, 28 people, please share the channel if you can. Share the Facebook page. Hit that goddamn tip jar. Throw $5 in there for me. I'm trying to buy another webcam, and I'm Poe. I know it doesn't look like it, but I have a real knack for spending exactly as much as I make. So, and you know, goat herding is not as profitable as it used to be. I made the mistake of giving my PCs a deserted keep, fully stocked. Well, it's cool, but then just demolish it, dude. You know, have the fact that they moved into the deserted keep, it angers the ghosts of old, or the dragon who watches the horde there, and he comes and just goes fucking straight up rain of fire on their asses. Stronghold issues can definitely create some fun twists. Amen, Warbeer. Totally true. Like, let it drive the story. Remember, a sandbox is only fun when it's not a real sandbox. Case in point, Crackdown. Ryan H. has posted a smiley face emoticon. It's not even an emoticon. It's old school colon parentheses. So Ryan H., nicely done, dude. If I had some whiskey left in this massive gyro-stabilized bottle, I would toast some. It would be cool if the more empty it got, it would start to sit like this. I'm going to put a ship in this thing. This thing's amazing. Thank you, Bumbo the Cat, for the giant bottle of whiskey. You're cool. You're a great friend. You got me drunk many times, and it's finally over. I eventually sent some squads. Oh, God, wait. Our current plans are probably going to negotiate the... This must be a hell of a goat herd. Jesus. Taco Bell Choco Tacos. Oh, man, I want that so bad. Oops, hey, we're about out of time. I eventually sent some squads again. Oh, my Lord. I'm going to take my fake bushes and I'm going to go home. You guys have made me too mad. No, just kidding. We're already at my home. That's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for showing up. It's been great hanging out with you, which means actually by myself, drinking, staring at a tiny little camera on a giant tripod. It's really awkward. It's like talking to Chappie or something. I eventually sent some... Yeah, okay. Ship in a Jameson bottle. That's a work of art. The SS Jameson. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for watching. Go roll your characters and do it in your journal without looking at the damn book. That is the fundamental takeaway tonight. The other one is you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel. We're going to keep growing. We're going to make more and more shit. And we're going to make everybody's D&D experience cooler across this great world of ours. Monkey bacon, turtle feet, and all good things in life. Okay, Maliante, thanks, man. Jackson, thanks for drinking. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. Strength, honor, beer. I'm signing off into the blackness. Oh.